What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Grind. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch 2. It finally got announced, and it didn't tell us anything. But we'll watch a trailer for Nintendo Switch 2. We're going to watch Skill Up. It's Thursday. We watch videos on Thursdays most of the time. We're going to watch Kingdom Come Deliverance II review, hand-on impression from Skill Up. And then we're going to watch a video from Greg Owen called Why Fun is Fine Sometimes, talking about just movies in general, why bad movies sometimes are okay because they're fun, right? And you can apply that to video games as well. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, gameplay, podcasts. So lots of different content on the show. If you don't like the morning show, maybe you can come back for the gaming show. If you don't like the gaming show, maybe you come back for the podcast. So each and every single day we have something else going on. So I appreciate it very much. What's going on, Roadkill? What's going on, Eclipse? What's going on, Crowded House? Leonidas, what's going on? Dolphin, Drummond, Kylo. Who am I missing? Got Roadkill. What's going on, Travis? Kuda Papa, good morning. Big Mo, what's going on? It's not that if you submitted 2 songs, Eclipse, right? 2 songs. You know how many songs I make, and for the ones I put up on stream, the ones that sound good. If you submit some and they sound good and I like them, I'll play them. Not a problem. I must make like 10, 15, and then I'm like, I don't like the way that sounds. I don't like the music, and I move it around. Some of them I'm looking for just for fun. Like the ones that I made with the microtransaction song, it sounds like an Adam Sandler piece, or the one that's like Taylor Swift, and it's 7 out of 10. Like, I'm just looking for different things to be just funny. No, you don't have to get on work on anything. I'm just letting you know. It's not that I don't like it. It's gotta hit, and if it doesn't hit, then I'm just like, I'm not gonna play it. I have a list of songs that I made that I don't play. I got like 25 albums already. Well, when you make a song, it produces 2 of them. And it does it in different, so it's the same lyrics, but it's done in like different music. And you have to start learning about, because you could put in like, I want choruses, I want like drum beats, guitar solos, riffs, different harmonies. You could type it all in. It all depends what your prompt is. It's not just, type it in and throw it up there and be like, sometimes the music comes in and the vocals are horrendous. Like, it just sounds like a garbled mess. Like, and you're like, what happened there? Look at you. A couple of weeks, you became a producer, even rejecting a hit that I won't hit. I mean, I don't know if you know this, Altern, but I've been playing music my entire life. Like, not playing music, like hitting play on a fucking record player or a recorder. Like, I literally was in an orchestra and jazz band. I was in a ska band. I literally played saxophone and trumpet for the better half of my younger life. Jason says, anyone know that if Mario Kart 8 on the Switch 2 trailer, I don't recognize that stage. I don't know if it's a Mario Kart game. I would think it was a Mario Kart like 9, or maybe they were coming out with a different thing. In the back of the sign behind Mario, it said Mario's Motors. Now, obviously, it's probably just an advertisement within the game, in the game world, because there's like Yoshi's restaurant as well. So I don't know. We'll watch it and see. I'm interested in knowing, because there was a shot that it plays the old Nintendo Switch games, right? So Nintendo Switch 2 will play old Nintendo Switch 1 games. So I wonder, I don't know if Nintendo will do this, but I wonder if the new games will be compatible to the old system. If it's just a little different, or does the new system take old cards and new cards, or is it the same card and you can take the new games and put them in the old system? They just won't be as pretty. What's going on, Wonder Rose? Travis says, 30, I got an idea for a song if you call What's Wrong with Devs. It's about a guy who's Pitchford, Carson, and Henson. Yeah, that's actually a good pitch, Travis. We can maybe do something like that. Mo says, yeah, I played clarinet, was the chorus, was also a choir boy, and rapped a little bit. Yeah, I was in chorus as well. But the Switch 2 is 100% backwards compatibility, both physical and digital. No, that's not what I'm asking, Akuta Papa. I understand that the new one plays the old games. What I'm saying is, are the new cartridges, the new format of the game that they have, can you play the new cartridge on the old system? Do we know that for a fact, or are you just saying that? I know you can play the old games on the new system, but what I'm saying to you is, will they allow you to put a Switch 2 game into a Switch, is what I'm asking. Kyle says, no chance. They want you to buy the new one. Probably be like the DS versus the 3DS. You can put both into the 3DS, but only DS into the DS. They make the cart slightly different. Right. That's my question, Kylo. If I could play AAA bangers on the Nintendo Switch 2, without even good than ever other handheld out there is in trouble. Well, the problem, the graphics, right? If people are, this is going to be a big, for me personally, Roadkill, I don't give a shit about graphics, right? If the game is fun, it's fun, right? I don't know, like, if the next Call of Duty comes out, is someone going to be buying Call of Duty on the Switch because it's on the Switch now? Or are they going to buy it on another console or a handheld because it would be better graphics or whatnot? You know what I mean? Dolphin says probably not. The new 3DS had a little notch in the cartridge to prevent from being put into the thing. Yeah, see, that's what I figured. Right. Crazy Uncle Nintendo. They do what they want. Just like the song I created, right? While PlayStation and Microsoft are fighting, they're over here doing their own thing. Roadkill says I played the saxophone. Which saxophone do you play? I played alto most of the time. I like tenor. Played a little bit Barry, but most of the time I just played alto. The new cartridge is exactly the same cartridge. Some Switch 2 games will work on Switch, but there will be some games that are exclusive to the Switch 2. So did Nintendo just make the Xbox Series S and X? Just a console later? Is that what just happened? Did Nintendo just make the Xbox Series S and X? Between the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2? Let's watch this. It absolutely shows absolutely nothing except for what it was, everything we have already known about the Switch 2 because of all the leaks, all the manufacturers of cases. We basically know exactly what it looked like, and it looks exactly like you thought it looked like. Okay, so here is the Switch 2, and 1,000% Nintendo's going to hit me for this because they're a bunch of assholes. How come I can't hear anything? What's happening? How come there's no sound? Is it muted? Oh, there's no sound because there's no sound. Sweet. What's going on, Hilly? This is just product porn, right? Like, that's what it is. This is the product porn. It's just like, oh, look at the sweet curves, openings in the ports. Look at this kickstand that won't break 5 seconds after you buy it. Oh, it's definitely breaking. Oh my God, are they bigger? Oh, thank you. Instead of holding it like this, I'm going to be holding it like this. That's going to be amazing. Oh, yeah. The Joy-Con. It's got 4 buttons and an analog stick. Comes with a home button and a picture button. You even got a strap and a little noose to put around your wrist. Snap into that screen so tight. Hear that click. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. There's the Switch 2. What do we know about it? Nothing. We still know nothing about it. We know what we know because of leakers and stuff like that, but nothing's official, so we know nothing. Okay. So this right here, this might be, I mean, obviously it's the next Mario Kart, right? It says Mario Kart right there. So I wonder if it's called Mario Kart Mario Motors, or if that's just the in-game brand. And again, we have Luigi's Tires, Mario's Motors, we have Yoshi's Restaurant throughout this. What do you think it's called? It's got a little... a little weird for the controller. It's got the controller behind. Here, watch this. Here, I'll just back it up a second. Right? So it's got the controller set, but then you put it in front of it. It doesn't connect to like it was last time, I guess. It's kind of weird. Where they like slid in. And then what, April? I think it's April 2nd. Okay, plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games, as well as Nintendo Switch games, which, that's fine, right? We know that. Okay. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or on or fully compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on Nintendo's website at a later date. Okay, so Nintendo Switch games, certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on the Switch 2. Certain ones. Which then means, I guess the cartridge is the same, right? It's got to be. Got to be the same if it's sitting. If unless they change the cartridge. But you can't take Switch 2 games and bring them on the Switch. So April 2nd is when they're going to make the Nintendo Direct to show more. Series of hand-on events held around the world. Great. I look forward to Nintendo demonetizing my video because of this. Appreciate it, Nintendo. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. We know it's the same Switch, but black. I mean, good assumption. Mario Kart Hit and Run. We know it's bigger. Yeah, we know it's bigger. We know it has a better screen, but obviously we know it'll get a better screen down the line, like mid-gen. It's got a better kickstand. It's got a port on the bottom and the top, if I'm not mistaken. Squared is weird. Top plug, and there's a chip that plugs in. What's going on, Argus? 20-something better screen, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look like a massive change. I mean, obviously there's a massive change, but it feels like... Let me put it in this perspective, okay? Let's say that Xbox or Microsoft never showed the Xbox Series X, right? And then they just showed the S. And they're like, hey, yeah, the S was the system for this generation, right? There was no X. And they're like, hey, we're making a brand new Xbox, and the next Xbox is coming out, and it's the Series X. And it's like, it's a little bit more powerful. It does better things. And you're like, cool. That is what Nintendo Switch did to the Nintendo Switch 2. Right? Am I wrong here? That's what it feels like. It just feels like it's the next upgrade to the Nintendo, but it's still the same Nintendo, meaning a game that comes out for the new Nintendo Switch 2, you can't use it in the Nintendo Switch 1, but you can still play your old games on Nintendo in here. And if it's digital, now digital, can you play the digital version of that game, new one, on your old system, or do you not compatible with the old one and you only can get it? Is it lower graphics? Like, we know nothing of the specs whatsoever. We don't know if anything about digital-wise. Can you do it? I think the Joy-Cons could have a mouse functionality. Come on, Rorik. They took away the childish-looking Joy-Cons. I'm pretty sure they'll sell the red and blue ones, Dolphin. I think it's just a style choice. They took away the colors, so you have to purchase them separately. See, make the problem sell a solution. But, Mom, I want the blue controllers. I want the red controllers. Well, they'll sell you those. It's Nintendo. They will take your channel. Yeah. Yeah. We'll just cut it out afterwards. Alton says Nintendo Switch 2 feels like a meme. What if the PC2 exists, or the PC2 exists, and how the Switch 2 is, and the same, but maybe with more power? Yeah, it just seems a little weird. There's a specific shot in the video that gives me that impression. Switch 2 Joy-Cons like a mouse and keyboard, banned on Rivals. I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, cool, right? It's got a headset port, right? It's got the new attachment piece. It's got the new kickstand that stretches back further. That's definitely breaking. I mean, that's definitely breaking. I can see it already. Right there. Snap. Done. Okay. They made the Joy-Cons bigger. 15% bigger. Got the little rubber coatings in there, so like your grummy hands and dirt don't get underneath. Right? The little attachment piece here, which we knew like a year and a half ago, where it inserts into the side of the Switch with magnets, and it snaps in, so it gets a little bit more stability. The buttons feel a little. It looks like they're satisfying with the click. You know what I mean? Got the little attachment pieces that come on and off. This right here, I'm a little worried about, right? So there's magnets on the inside, and then it's got the docking, port. And when it clicks in, my thing right here is when you're holding it like this, over time, will they? How much do you have to pull out? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to put your hand on the middle and then pull out, or can you just yank it real fast? And will they fall out? That's what I would be interested in. Interested to know. Got the port with the volume up and down here. Volume up on the top as well, with another charge port up on the top. So you can still play while you're on the kickstand. This is the official Switch 2, Sarge. It's like Switch 1, but with a 2. And it's just a little bit bigger. Not much to say. They just showed it off. There's no specs. We don't know what it does. They show a little bit of gameplay with Mario Kart right here. But we know nothing. We know it's a Mario Kart, but we don't know what Mario Kart. They briefly show it. That's it. So, comes out this year, but we don't know anything about it. Fantastic. Good old crazy Uncle Nintendo. Krebsy says all rumors Joy-Cons will have an optional sensor as their type of DLSS upscaling tech built in. It's 16 times stronger than the Switch 1. 16 times the detail. Eclipse says, so yeah, it's a glorified upscaling machine. That's what I want. I'm good. I'll just emulate on a PC. I'm not giving shit to Switch. All I'm saying is they showed a video. And I'm not saying you're saying I'm giving it shit. All I'm saying is they showed the device, which is not really a surprise anymore because people love to break surprises. But they showed nothing. We know nothing of it. Everything that we've known so far of the power is all speculation from leaks and whatnot. We knew what it was going to look like. We literally talked about this like over a year ago about the actual design, what they just showed. So the Switch 2 becoming the PlayStation 5 Pro argument, is it? I don't know if it's the Pro. The Pro is it's like what they did in the past. It's just right. I feel like, and my example was the S to the X because they came out the same time. Now, obviously, this didn't come out the same time, but I feel like because it's backwards compatible, okay, with other games, and I guess it could be the PlayStation as well. It feels like the SX type of thing because if they come out with a game now, doesn't have to run on the Switch, or none of the things that come out from here out forward. I doubt they're going to stop supporting the Switch, right? It's their biggest. I mean, hence why they made the Switch 2 the way they did. It's the biggest console they've ever made. It's going to become the #1 console ever created. Okay, so they don't want to. They just don't want to stop producing for it. But it'll be very interesting to see that if a game comes out, the next Call of Duty game, right, third party. Okay, well, that's a bad example because you can't play that on the Switch, right? A game comes out that's third party that it's going to look better on the Switch 2 and then look downgraded on the Switch 1. But then when they make games, do they have to make sure it runs on the Switch 1, or do they just not worry about the Switch 1 and then just make the Switch 2? What's the features that stand out different? Better kickstand. They got a charge port up on top and bottom, so when you're playing and you're charging and you have it on the kickstand, that the cable doesn't bend and break at the bottom. It now comes from the top. Bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons, magnetic stuff on the side. There's lots of changes to it, right? And that's just what we know for design factor. We don't know what's actually inside of it yet, what the difference are. Mario Kart 9 and Donkey Kong model is similar to the DK from the Mario movie. Okay. Yeah, there's no way it's going to be $800. There's no way. There's no way it's going to be $800. Jason says I need to see more before I call it a Switch Pro. Yeah, like I said, the design is exactly what we thought was going to be because people showed it to us and leaked it to over a year ago. I don't think people are saying it's gonna be like the as graphically like PlayStation. What I'm saying is that it's gonna be more popular. It is. It's the most. It's gonna be the most popular Switch anyway. The Switch is gonna be the most popular console ever created. It's closing in on the PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, yeah, PlayStation 2 right now is the widely most is the biggest one, but Switch is closing in. 160 million units for PlayStation 2. Nintendo last time reported is at 146. And I believe it's actually at 152 last time I saw, or I think they just surpassed like the Nintendo DS a couple months ago. There's no way it's going to be that much. No way it's going to be $700, $800. $399 top. What's wrong, Water Bear? No, I didn't even pick up the Switch. I didn't even pick up the Switch 1 day one, right? I'm never a day one guy anymore, Jason, right? So the only reason I would get a Switch 2 is if they had Ultimate Alliance 4, okay? Like, Ultimate Alliance is one of the reasons I picked up a Switch. Come on, Fifth Horseman. Right now, games in the dev will have been made for the Series 1, depending on how well S2 does sells. It'll be determined where things show up going forward. Most likely. Ramsey says 4 to 550. I don't think so. Well, 400, 399. I'll go for the top there. I don't think it goes over that. Kylo says it's just Nintendo playing. It's safe. I think this will be their console every time now. Just be a better version of the Switch. I think it's actually make a pro version this time around. I think that, does this count? I mean, I know it's a Switch 2. Does this count as its own separate console, or does it just throw on top of the Switch? Right? What is the original price of the Switch? $299, and I think $299 and $350, if I'm not mistaken, Sarge. Or maybe it was $399, $299. Does it still dock into the Taco? Yeah, it still does the same docking station. Oh, people are on Twitter anyway. It's pretty insane. Oh, like I said to Tim Kaine on his video the other day, you don't read those comments. Those people are idiots if you think that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be as powerful as a Pro. I mean, come on. Eclipse says, if they announce all third-party games running on this at 60 frames, then I might get it. Travis says, Ultimate Alliance 4 coming to Switch 2, confirmed by 30. Yep, if it does, I'm buying a Switch 2. That's the only way I'll buy it. We don't know the release date, Water. They're going to tell us more on April 2nd. April 2nd. There's a Nintendo Direct. It's its own console, just like the DS and the 3DS. Same shit, just better. Well, I wouldn't say that. Remember, there was the Wii, and then there was the Wii U. And that was not the Wii better. That was not the Wii better. The Switch 2, probably $429 to $449. Oh, no, it's coming out in 25, Water. It's coming out. It actually might be out by the summer. That's the speculation, that it's coming out by the summertime. I mean, we can look out when the release of the Switch, we know, let's see. March 3rd is when the Switch came out, right? Let's see. The Wii U came out in November. The Wii came out in November. GameCube came out in November. Well, in Japan in September, in America in November. So I would say, besides the Switch, all their other consoles that I'm looking up have come out in November. So GameCube, let's see, N64. That came out in June, in September in North America. So in Japan on June 23rd, in North America in September. So September. So I would assume like later in the year by Christmas time. I think that's a pretty much safe bet. That's when the Switch 2 comes out. But people are saying that it'll come out by summertime. He says, I don't think I will be getting one. If I did, I could just imagine getting sued by Nintendo for not completing the EULA or something. Brain says, maybe only one way I'll get it is if they first come out with, if people learn to break it, and then you can play all your old games on it, like they did with the Switch. Oh, give it like a month or so, and then people will figure that out. Kyle says, yeah, I think they release it now, due to them probably having a Nintendo Direct for the Switch 1, and people won't complain about not seeing the Switch 2. Akuta Papa says 30 rumors are putting the Switch 2 between 3.1 and 4.2 teraflops, which is stronger than the base PlayStation 4, up to the equal to PlayStation 4 Pro. That's based on leaks on NVIDIA. Do people think it's going to be generational leap? I don't think so. I think the people that are Nintendo fans are not asking for, that jump from like the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox One to the Xbox, X. Water says I might pick it up for Ultimate Alliance 4, definitely, but not for the case you use the handheld device to play PC. No, I already told my son. I said the Switch 2 is probably coming out this year. I was like, you're not getting it, not this year. I said a miracle would have to happen if they announce on Ultimate Alliance 4 on the Switch. Then we're getting it this Christmas. Yeah. I said they're making an event on April 2nd. There's a direct on the April 2nd. They missed out on calling it the Super Switch. Yeah, I forget who said it in our chat, but someone said it should be called the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo Switch, and they should have put it in the color scheme of it. Missed marketing opportunity. Yeah, but their graphics are good though, Water. Right? I mean, we looked at that chart of Mario, and it hasn't changed since 2007. It went exponentially better and better and better, and then the graphics hit a certain point, and they've been the same for like 15 years. Well, 18 years, I guess. Kyle says I did. I think they come out with a mid-gen refresh. It'd be Super Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, that just sounds like a better brand. You know what I mean? I hate when companies put a 2 behind things like a sequel. Like a movie. It's a bad movie. I'm not saying it's bad device. It's just like the wording. Like, come on, guys. Like, I hate, regardless if you like Microsoft or not or Xbox, their marketing for their systems is terrible. Right? Yes, the X, the One. It's just like, come up with better names. I hate the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, make it something, man. At least Atari had it right when they made like the Jaguar. Right? Neo Geo. Everybody says they can't call it Super Switch because then it becomes the Wii U situation. The 2 easily tells everyone it's a new console. Well, they had bad branding with the Wii. Everyone's like, it's the Wii, but it's Wii U. Is it a new system? Is it an add-on to the Wii? Right? No, you just call it a fucking different system. Hence why the Wii U sucked balls. Because the marketing on it was terrible and the system was terrible. But it doesn't matter because they made so much money off the other systems, they can make systems like that and bomb. Imagine going a whole generation, another generation of, they put a system out there, it sucked and they're still okay. The Wii Poo. They don't need a fancy names, just a good system. All I'm saying is for marketing purposes, Travis, they don't need to put just a number after it. That's all I'm saying. Ray says, this is how I would call the next Xbox consoles. Home console, Xbox, next. Portable, the Duke. Don't forget, 30, they might call the new Xbox, Xbox Prime, probably adding Pro Plus. Who knows? Yeah. DJ says, Nintendo Switcheroo. The Switcheroo. I mean, I like it. I like it, DJ. We use it now, but the Xbox Series X sounded so off when they first announced it. Yeah, the Series S, the Series X, right? The marketing of it, people were confused when they bought it. when they went to go buy a Christmas gift, they didn't know if they could buy the 1, the S, the X. It's just called the X. They didn't know which one was. It's just confusing marketing. You're welcome, House. You're welcome for the Marvel Rival song. Mo sings it every day. Like he looks forward to that song playing in the morning show. Xbox Prime is just dumb as well. They're like, hey, well, Amazon's got a Prime. We should put a Prime on ours. This is Xbox Prime. Dummy. The iPhone does it. Yeah. And it's stupid. It's stupid. What iPhone do you have? I have iPhone. I don't know. I have the 16. I have the 18. It's stupid. Just because iPhone does it doesn't mean it's a good model. It's just stupid putting numbers behind your product. Make a new product. Android does it. Android puts different names behind the stuff. He says with Microsoft, the project names are always better. Oh yeah. The internal names like Anaconda, the Xbox Anaconda, and then when it comes out, it's like Xbox S. You're like, what? Travis says the Xbox Prime sounds like a Logan Paul device that's expensive and tastes like crap. Mo says, heads up, nobody's confused. We're at the parents and grandparents buying the systems. Mo, there's story after story of the parents and grandparents buying the wrong systems for their kids. These are facts. These are facts. Horseman says, you can say numbers are stupid. People are more stupid, and at least it helps them tell the difference. Sure. You know what also would tell them the difference? If you didn't make the product look exactly like the last product and you didn't call it the exact same thing with a 2 behind it. Just saying. That's funny, Travis. That is funny. Don't tell Mo facts. It's like telling Han Solo the odds. That's funny, Travis. All right, the next topic we're going to talk about, because we'll talk about Nintendo when it actually has something to say. They have nothing to say. The next thing we're going to talk about is Kingdom Come Deliverance II. Skill Up has a hands-on impressions. Okay, so we're going to watch this. It's about 18 minutes and 52 seconds long. If you guys like what we do here, we watch and comment and pause and give our own opinions as we watch these videos. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Here we go.
Very proud to be continuing the journey with this video sponsor, Squarespace. They just re-signed for the 6th year running, making them our longest and most supportive partner. They help me do what I do, just like their website creation tools help millions of people start new careers, build new businesses, or just get things done. They're offering a special discount to viewers of this channel, so stick around to the end of the video to learn more. A quick disclaimer before we start. I had an issue with my recording, and so the footage here looks a little choppier than it actually is in game. I fixed that issue for the future, but for now just know that the in-game experience is notably smoother than you'll see in this video. Hello and welcome to
Looks like shit. Oh my god, it's terrible.
2025. Gonna be a good year for video games, I think, and I can think of no better way to kick it off than a preview for Kingdom Come Deliverance II.
That looks pretty damn good.
One of the biggest and most ambitious RPGs launching this year. And just to give you a sense of how big this is,
I have a question. Maybe he'll answer it. Maybe you guys can answer it before he does. If you've never played the first one, can you play the second one, or do you need to play the first one to get the gist of what's going on in the second one?
Warhorse sent out the review code for this one in the first week of January, giving us a full month to play it ahead of the review embargo. They then said that we could do a preview of the game, but we could only show up to a certain point, and they said it would take us around 10 hours to reach that point. Well, I'm at over 20 hours played now, and I still have not reached that point, because Kingdom Come Deliverance II, or KCD2, is so vast and dense and distracting in that every time you have a specific goal or destination in mind, you'll invariably get waylaid or sidetracked en route to it. Going directly from point A to point B is basically impossible in this game because there's always going to be 5 new things you discover along the way, each one beckoning you toward it without the promise of XP or gear or whatever. It's just your curiosity that spurs you forward, and that curiosity is always handsomely rewarded. So let's just frame up this preview. I have played around 20 hours, and I've basically been doing every single bit of side content you can do, which is why it's taken me 20 hours to play a 10-hour stretch of game. This preview is spoiler free.
So what may and here's a question, right? Certain games that are like 20 hours, 80 hours, 100 hours, people look at them and go, I can't do it, right? Like, I can't do another Assassin's Creed game, right? Can't do it. I played 4 or 5 of them, and I was just like, I'm not interested in that anymore, right? Not saying they're all bad, right? But then you get a game like this, or a game like Skyrim, or a game even like Starfield, right? Starfield, I put in like 200 and something hours, right? Had no problem doing that. But when I think about putting 200 hours into an Assassin's Creed game, I kind of cringe a little bit inside. Like I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do it. What makes that happen? You know what I mean? Like, why is it okay for one game to be you throw 1,000 hours in, and the other game you're like, that's like yanking teeth.
Free in that I do talk about some of the setup for the scenarios I encounter, but never their resolutions. I played from the very start of the game, and at this point the broader plot is kind of on hold while I just cruise around the countryside, exploring, gearing up, helping people out, etc. I played on a high-end PC and a Steam Deck, and I will...
It's a type of game? Yeah, but Water, right now, okay, I have almost 100 hours in Marvel Rivals. When I looked at Rivals, I'd never cringed 1 second going, 100 hours? I don't want to put 100 hours into that game, right? But if you tell me the next Assassin's Creed game's coming out, and I'm like, I don't know, man. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a story-driven game. The main campaign is short. It's all the side stuff that add the time to play. If the story... Well, if you know me, Roic, I literally do all the side quests and everything. If the storyline can keep you intrigued for long, along with the also quest, then it's also no complaints. Crowded House says, Lono got big mad at the rage quit this game. If he doesn't auto-save for you, he died and lost hours of progress. Well, I have a question. I have a lot of questions for that, though, House. Right? He got big mad and rage quit in this game. He doesn't auto-save. Lots of games don't auto-save. But as a person that plays a lot of RPGs, and I'm not saying this is, it needs to, but if you play a lot of RPGs, you know to save often, right? You know to save often. So there's no autosave in the game, or is there only autosave at certain parts? That's what I would like to know, right? I'm sure there's autosave, just you have to go somewhere to do autosave. Or you have to, like, either go somewhere, make something to do autosave. Travis says 30 because it's about what appeals to what doesn't. Would rather put 50,000 hours into AC Odysseys than 5 hours into a Souls game. No, I understand that. I don't think there's a right answer to this, Travis. I think it's weird that some of us will play one game and put thousands of hours in, and the same type of game that you're not interested in, you're like, just thinking about it, you're like, I don't want to do that. Horseman says, because most of the side content in AC is completely the same, boring, especially compared to the main missions. I used AC as an example. I'm just talking about in general, though. Yeah, just in general. Man, gamers have become spoiled. Neutralizer says, this is a snooze fest type of game for me, but I enjoy the discussion. Yeah, I never played the first one, Neutralizer. I never played the first one. The first one I tried to get into, and I couldn't get into it. He claims they don't explain it. They don't explain it? Or there's no autosave? I said, I don't know. This is like a game of telephone. Like, he said something, you're saying something. There's something missing there. I would have to either look at the game myself or listen to him say it. there's an item you can use to manual save. Do they explain that, Argus, in the game? Do they explain the item that you use to manual save? Hilly says you have to craft potions to save in this. But there's got to be a save method, Hilly, when you talk to NPCs. If it's like the main story quest or whatnot, I would assume. That's usually what happens, right? So there might be potions and stuff that you have to do, like if you're out in the world. But I'm pretty sure if you say, like, if you talk to somebody, it probably saves at that point. But then after that point, you would have to, and if it is an hour, 2 hours after you've never been back, you probably have to save. You're like, oh, I'm about to go into this castle. I'm going to save before I go in there, type of thing. But that you teach yourself over the years of playing these types of games. Eclipse says you have to sleep before to save. So there you go. So then you would. So can you put? Here's my next question. Again, I don't know. Can you build a sleeping bag or some sort of portable bed, a tent of some sort, to right before you go somewhere, you put your camp down and sleep? Roadkill says, yeah, but I just saw a skill up say if you just close the game down, it saves for you. Okay. Oh, yeah, you craft potions or sleeping. It's just a quit of the game. You can also save and quit. Okay, it's kind of having the ribbons of Resident Evil. Game isn't a cup of tea. Hell, I know. I wouldn't like the Viking. Yeah, bed or gather materials to save on the go. So that's in the game then. So it explains that to you then, right? Does that explain it to you in the game?
We'll be doing a full review of the game at or near embargo. So at a very high level, I want to make clear that KCD 2 is absolutely more KCD, and if you didn't like the first game, I think it's extremely unlikely that you will enjoy this. KCD was...
Okay, let me rewind that again.
First game, I think it's extremely unlikely that you will enjoy this. KCD was very popular and critically acclaimed, but it was also a very acquired taste. It had...
Yeah, it was a niche market that liked the game. Did very well. It sold very well. I think it sold 11 million copies or something like that. So it was very successful over the time.
A pace that many found too slow. Its commitment to history could feel a little dull to those who were looking for a little more spectacle. Its game systems were very tactile, which could feel laborious to those who didn't delight in the doing of them. And in particular, combat was... man, it was like a whole thing. It put a premium on authenticity over playability, which really fit KCD and what it was trying to do.
I bet you this would be a really cool VR game.
But it does result in a combat system that demands you meet it on its terms, and if you are unwilling to do that, then you probably weren't going to have a great time with KCD. KCD 2 is that sort of sequel that confidently says, I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be for those who love me. Everybody else can take a hike. Even with just 20 hours in the game, it's already clear that the budget, scale, ambition, and depth of KCD 2 far exceeds that of the original game, but the heart of it remains wholly unchanged. This is a deeply immersive, slow-paced, systems-driven, mechanics-heavy, historically accurate role-playing experience. In the most deliberate use of the words role-playing, this is about becoming Henry, experiencing the world through his eyes, staring down dangers with those same eyes, bare-knuckle brawling at a tavern, and then donning a pair of gloves when it's time to do some blacksmithing to earn enough coin to...
See, him talking about this is like right up my alley. I love stuff like this. Right? I love immersing myself into a game like this and just getting lost in it. But I don't know if I want to play this game. Maybe I'll play the other one. Is it still on Game Pass?
To pay for a bath because by God you stink. In an era where most games put a premium on convenience and instant gratification, KCD is the exact...
Right, Sarge. Make a game, sell a game, right? If this is the game they wanted to make, cool. People will find the game that they want to play and play it.
Opposite of that. It is so slow that it can feel self-indulgent. And here in the sequel, rather than try to smooth out some of that to make it more accessible to a wider audience, Warhorse Studios have essentially doubled down on all of the things that gave KCD its identity. The result is a game that so far delivers an elevated experience for those that are into that sort of thing, but also one that remains utterly impenetrable to those who seek more convenience, a faster pace, and more spectacle than what this setting and time period allow for. Cards on the table though, I fucking love this, but I love the first game, so I'm kind of an easy mark. 20 hours in, KCD 2 is everything I hoped it would be and more.
See, my problem is, I just figured it out, right? I want to play, like right now I'm enjoying Marvel Rivals, right? For right now, I'm loving Marvel Rivals. And if I'm not playing Marvel Rivals, right, I'm playing this. But if I dive into this, like for instance, I was playing Brighter Shores, the RuneScape type of game. I have over 150 hours into that game on my spare time before Marvel Rivals came out. Marvel Rivals comes out, and now that's taking my time to play. When I had time to play, I was playing the Brighter Shores game. But then Path of Exile came out. I started playing that. Started playing Marvel Rivals, and I stopped playing Path of Exile, right? Time is time, and I'm so engulfed into Marvel Rivals that a game like this, I'm like, I just don't have time. Even though I would put the time in, because when I played Indiana Jones, I mean, we have like 60 hours in that game, right? We have 60 hours in Indiana Jones. I loved it.
And if all of that holds through to the conclusion, I think we're in for yet another sprawling, magnificent, wholly unique RPG experience.
Is this a streaming game? I don't think this is a streaming game. It's a streaming game for those type of people. Like Toe Carnage plays this. People would love watching him play this, right? But is this a streaming game? I don't think it is.
Well, Henry, looking forward to new adventures? Adventures that will become the stuff of legends?
From the moment the first cutscene rolled in KCD2, I was like, whoa, you guys had a lot more money this time, didn't you? Presentation of KCD1 was no slouch, but it did have some rougher edges, and it's also 6 years old now. Here, these in-engine but pre-rendered cutscenes are just the first taste of the visual uplift that KC2 delivers, because as impressive as they are, it's far more impressive when the pre-rendering stops and the gameplay kicks in.
This is just a crazy good-looking game with some of the best landscapes and vegetation in any game.
Looks great.
Stop. A lot of my 20 hours has been walking through or riding through the countryside, and Warhorse have put an extraordinary amount of effort into making that countryside look remarkable. When you finally get a horse and you push out from a tree line into a rolling field and you dig those spurs in and the horse breaks into a gallop, it's almost like you can feel the sun on your face and the wind in your hair. It's a combination of the design of these landscapes, the way they're colored and lit, how densely detailed they are, and how...
So Eclipse, would you recommend, if I pick this game up, or even Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, right? Would you recommend, like, if I have like 2 or 3 hours to kill on a weekend, and I slowly just play through the game, this is a sit down and kind of relax and enjoy the time as you go through, right? This is not a run through fast and just beat the game.
Endlessly they stretch out before you. It's some of the most beautiful nature you'll find in any game, and it makes your lengthy commutes very pleasant because even when there's not much going on, there's plenty of lovely scenery to look at. It also runs brilliantly, at least on my high-end machine. 4K resolution, all settings maxed out, DLSS set to performance. I was constantly getting over 80 frames a second.
I don't think I did on Epic, no.
In wide open areas and around 100 frames or more in enclosed spaces. I also tested it on Steam Deck, and it's pretty impressive how well it runs. With FSR set to balance, you can get a locked 45 frames when playing on low settings and a locked 30 frames when playing on medium settings.
I think people that play this, though, Sarge, would, if they liked the Skyrim, I mean, obviously Skyrim's got magic and stuff in it, but I think people that played Skyrim would like stuff like this.
I personally think this sort of game is best enjoyed on a large monitor or a TV screen, but like they say, you gotta dance with the one what brung ya, and if the Steam Deck is your only option, then you can rest easy knowing that you can expect a smooth experience. Bugs was an area that really crippled KCD1 at launch, to the point where I and many others didn't actually end up recommending it at launch, suggesting that people wait for bug fixes to roll through before picking it up. That was really understandable back then because KCD was a Kickstarter project from an all-new studio, which capped out at about 150 people, and they worked on the game for 8 years before just having to ship it. This time, it is
Make a game, sell a game. Broke, buggy, and unfinished when it comes out. Nice.
very different. The team is almost twice as large, and rather than building from scratch, they have a huge head start in the form of the first game. The result is a substantially less buggy game that I think will pass most sniff tests. However, it hasn't been totally...
See? He even says the sniff test. Yeah, you gotta give it the sniff test, man.
Smooth sailing for me. In my 20 hours, there have been 3 occasions where quests have bugged out, forcing me to reload saves. In one instance, I didn't even know the quest bugged out because it wasn't clearly communicated, and I only realized that about an hour later, which then forced me to reload a save, having, wasted that full hour. In another instance, I experienced a hard crash after spending 30 minutes just blacksmithing and repairing gear and tidying up my inventory and spending perk points, etc. The way this loss of progress occurs is actually tied to the way the game handles saving. So in the first game, there were regular autosaves, but you could only manually save if you slept in a bed or you drank schnapps, which you could either find or craft. The system was designed to avoid save scumming, and it would force you to more carefully consider actions, which is all good in theory, but when playing a buggy game, it did result in huge amounts of lost progress when the game did something it wasn't supposed to do, and you were forced to reload a save. Here in KCD 2, the save system is similar, only now there's a save and quit option in the menu, which allows you to save whenever you like, but you need to close the game client to do so.
That's very strange. So they do have, so in the first game, it was just a bed and potions, right? But you would still lose product or progress if the game crashed or whatnot, because obviously, right?
So at this point,
So they have a save similar to the first one, but now there's a save and quit.
Warhorse has landed on what I think is a pretty silly solution, because now when I'm about to do something important and it's been a while since I've found a bed to sleep in or whatever, I just close the game client and reopen it. So I have to sit through the loading screens needlessly, all because Warhorse thought that this weird compromise would be better than just letting me manually save. Anyway, the point of all of this is
That's dumb.
say that the game is way less buggy than KCD 1 was at launch, but it's not perfect, and it wouldn't be a big deal if the save system was more flexible, and it isn't a big deal so long as you're willing to regularly close the client to save the game, which is a ridiculous sentence to have to say out loud, but it is what it is. The opening of the game is, I think,
It is pretty stupid. Pretty dumb. You're like, all right, well, I'm going to save now. I'm going to close the game now. I'm going to close the game. So someone that saves all the time has to keep closing the game and opening the game if they don't find a bed or drink a potion.
extremely strong.
Is it easy to make the potions? How many potions can you have on you?
Henry and his lord, Hans Capon, have been dispatched to deliver a message to a distant noble, a sort of peace offering on which much hinges. Rather unexpectedly, Henry and his band are attacked by marauding bandits, and while Henry and Hans manage to escape, the rest of their party does not. Henry is grievously wounded and stripped of all of his possessions, which creates a sort of Metroidvania reset moment here for Henry. All of the physical strength and equipment he'd amassed over the previous game is now gone, and he
Oh, I like that. So then basically you start from scratch.
needs to begin rebuilding his body, his arsenal, and his wealth in a new section of the world that is totally unfamiliar to him. Resetting the table like this is really good because there's a tremendous amount of joy to be found in engaging all of KCD's very tactile itemization, progression, and economic systems. I mean, gear-wise, it's an incredibly deep and sophisticated offering. I don't think I've ever seen a character sheet that's let me equip so many things at once, and they're all real things, mind you, because you need to put on certain types of armor on top of specific underlays or paddings. There's coats and cuirasses and breastplates.
There's no microtransactions in this, right? It's just straight up game, buy a game, play a game.
And coifs and padded leggings, and the list goes on, and you're naked as the day you were born when you start this journey, but as you explore you might find a sick sword laying on a corpse of a fallen knight out in the forest, or you might best a group of bandits who ambush you at night, allowing you to take all their gear. Bit by bit you gear up.
See, that's a perfect... So no, there's no microtransaction. Which is a perfect example of why game design...
bandits who ambush you at night, allowing
when you look at this, when you look at the amount of gear that's in there, a game that wants to charge microtransactions would add more gear that you couldn't find, but more better things, so they could charge you microtransactions for each of those things, instead of just putting it in the game, because that's what they want to put in the game, right? To give it more realism. You know what I mean? To live in that world, you would put layers and stuff on to protect yourself more.
Take all their gear. Bit by bit, you gear up.
It's not
and now,
Capcom.
20 hours in, I've got almost all my item slots filled, and I'm starting to feel pretty robust in combat. But it's not just about armor, mind you. It's also about the other clothes you wear and what they do, and what condition those clothes are in. If you're in town wearing full armor, covered head to toe in blood, and you haven't bathed in days, the local landed gentry aren't going to be obliged to treat with you.
I like that. See, I like that. I like the fact that you put something in the game and there's a reason for it to be in the game, right? So if you're all bloody and you're walking through town, you're like, no one wants to interact with you. So you have to interact with things. Like, why put a mechanic in the game to bathe if there's no reason to bathe? If they treat me the same if I'm bathed or not bathed. If they treat you the same if you're in costume or not in costume. If you're walking around naked or if you're walking around with full set of armor, right? It's dumb. They've gone the route of making this game the most immersive type of RPG sim that there is, where there's reasons to do what you're doing.
Similarly, if you're standing there wearing nothing but your cotton socks, ruffians assailing you in the dead of night are unlikely to be moved by your threats of violence. You need to wear the right clothes for the right situation,
That's
as your
cool.
attire and presentation will greatly impact your effectiveness in dialogue checks. And I personally have encountered more than a few situations where people were much more helpful after I'd slipped away for a moment to freshen up and put on a change of clothes, a process made much simpler by the inclusion of a loadout system that allows
That dude is high. You can tell he's high.
you to instantly swap between 3 clothing configurations. The clothing system is really emblematic of what you can expect from most of KCD2's game systems. Progression and perks is another example. Like all the best RPGs, you level up specific skills by doing that thing, and there are so many different categories of action. There's crafting and hunting and warfare and speechcraft and stealthing and dozens of others, and then above all of those are your core stats, things like strength and vitality and agility, etc. Hell, there's even a dedicated drinking stat with a whole raft of perks underneath it that can make you a better and or more discerning drinker. A skill set
There you go, Sarge. They got a game mode for you.
that would have been very useful to me when I spent a night getting absolutely shit-faced with a bunch of cumans, to the point where I got naked and said I could swim across the pond, even though Henry can't swim. God bless him. The space to shape your character here is so vast. You really can roleplay as a drunken brawler who starts shit in every tavern, or you can be a ranger type hunting and living off the land, or you might be that smooth-talking charlatan, no noble blood but still able to verbally joust with the highborn when the situation calls for it. It's so flexible and so feelable. When you've got this many different stats and systems at work, there's a risk that all of this just tumbles into this big melting pot and it's impossible to keep track of it all. But your gear and your perks are so potent that you feel how much they shape both your capabilities and your decisions, and that is one of the most important aspects of any RPG experience, and KCD1 nailed that, and KCD2 is taking it leagues further. Decision making is obviously also a huge part of the game's various narratives too. There is a main quest line, but I can't comment about how much decisions matter there since I haven't experienced much of it. On the side quests though, it's hugely important. I've probably completed around a dozen side quests at this point, and almost all of them have had multiple meaningful dialogue options that could pivot the outcome of a quest one way or another. Often these decisions are small, like whether you agree to collect wildflowers for someone who's trying to brew a potion, but just as often they're life or death decisions as you find yourself the arbiter of someone's fate. More profoundly, there's a huge amount of decision making baked into the core gameplay, such that you're almost never not making a decision. There's so much freedom about where to go at any point in time, and so much to discover when you get there. New towns, for example, when you arrive, the map does not get filled out until you do a lap of.
I wonder if he elaborates on it, because I remember when he did his AC Valhalla, he said that the game, like AC, was bloated because for just to be bloated. And this is a wide open game as well. So I wonder, the way he's describing the game, there's reasons to do the things in the game. Unlike in AC Valhalla or Odyssey or any of these other games that he reviewed, that there was really no point to going out there. It was just big for big's sake.
The town, seeing for yourself where the butcher is, where the tailor is, talking to the local innkeep about local goings-on and gossip. They may alert you to the threat of bandits roaming the area, and if you want to go and confront them, maybe you do that from afar, sniping them with your bow. Maybe you want to do a full frontal assault, murdering a few of them in their sleep while only confronting the poor sap who was on guard duty that night. All of these options and freedoms are yours for the taking at any given moment, and KCD2 certainly isn't the first game to frame things up like this, but it's among the most capable in its rendition of this fantasy. Warhorse have poured so much love and care into each game system that none of them falter as you begin to lean on them. They all withstand whatever level of scrutiny you want to throw at them, but similarly, none of them become so powerful and so effective that they're like an I win button. 20 hours in, the game feels really well balanced, inviting you to be inventive and adaptive with how you approach situations, because while you may have your own preferred fantasy or playstyle, there's obviously going to be better or easier ways to do specific things, and so dipping your toes into those different playstyles, those different weapon types, those different dialogue options, they give you a taste of a new way to play KCD2, one that just might become your preferred way to play for the rest of the game. The last thing I'll touch on is the earnestness with which Warhorse approached this character Henry, the people around him, the scrapes he gets into, and the region Warhorse are depicting here. There's no other game quite like KCD. Typically, a role-playing experience like this is set in a fantasy world. Baldur's Gate, Skyrim, Avowed, The Witcher, etc. These are all very similar games to KCD in many aspects,
right,
but their fantasy settings allow the writers to imagine almost anything they please. Game feeling a little slow paced? Just throw in an epic dragon battle.
Right.
Quest getting a little dull? Make the final boss an immortal troll woman who harvests the youth of unborn children to stay alive. That'll fix it. KCD can't do any of that. It has to color within the lines of what is believable, and moreover, it's further constrained by a deep commitment to accurately depicting the history of these people and this region. Now, this is obviously not a one-to-one depiction because it's a video game and you've got to take some creative license, but where Warhorse can be authentic, they will be. These constraints are naturally going to result in a less audacious, less spectacular adventure. Real life is, generally speaking, not as fun as magic and dragons, so I think it would have been very tempting for Warhorse to reach for scenarios and set pieces that are more exciting, give the whole thing a bit of a swashbuckling Three Musketeers kind of vibe. But Warhorse actually went the exact opposite direction, and they've centered their game on very intimate personal dramas, disagreements between merchants, bitter family feuds, a storyline about the funding of a wedding celebration.
So it's more of a period piece, not a fantasy piece.
A lover's quarrel, a search for a woodsman who got drunk and wandered off, a search for your own dog who went missing when you were attacked. There's obviously going to be a bigger saga waiting for me later on, one of kings and courts and trebuchets, but for 20 hours I really have been getting to know the local herb woman and helping her out with like 8 things, and I really did spend nearly 20 hours looking for that damn dog. In that time, I've met so many wonderfully written, memorable characters who all had a small part to play in my larger story, and I really delighted in how small so many of the stakes were here, and I appreciated how subtle so many of the character depictions were. Warhorse have built a world here comprised of villages, and those villages are comprised of people, each with their own personalities and stories, such that when I look at the map, I actually don't see buildings, I see people. The person who I know can help me with this thing because I helped them with that other thing before. For a game of such breathtaking beauty, massive scale, and impressive mechanical depth, I think it's to Warhorse's credit that these intimate character moments can leave such a lasting impression. I love fighting a 1,000-year-old bone dragon in Baldur's Gate 3, but I also love playing matchmaker between a wandering nomad woman and a burly cumin, only to fail so badly that the woman cusses me out and the man knocks me on my ass. Those are good times.
Right, Eclipse, right? Like, you make the story, right? It's not about just a checklist, go do this, go do that, go do this. It's what do you want to do? We gave you the book, and you get to choose your own adventure type of thing with inside the story.
And I can't wait to keep having them as I play through the rest of the game. I'm going to go do that right now, so please, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop it a like, and do look forward to the full review in a few weeks' time. Thanks very much, see you then.
So when does this come out? This comes out, I got like 2 minutes worth of ads at the end here. Go check out Skill Up. Obviously, he doesn't need my help to get views in any way, shape, or form. That video has been seen 214,000 times in like a day. So February 4th. Oh, so in February you have this game. You have Monster Hunter. What, Wilds is coming out? Jesus. Then you already got the other games that are already out with Path of Exile 2. People still playing that. Marvel Rivals. People still playing that. Like a dragon pirate game in February. Let me look see what they have coming out in February. In February, the list I have here. Let's see. We got February. Yeah, Kingdom Come. You get the Tomb Raider remaster coming out. You got Avowed coming out the 18th. Yeah, see, that's another game. I'm more interested in Avowed than Kingdom Come Deliverance, but obviously, I don't even know if I'll play Avowed when it comes out. Then you have the Pirate of Yakuza, right? Then you have Monster Hunter. Quite a bit of games, man. Quite a bit of games. Elite Sniper comes out on January 30th. Citizen Sleeper 2 comes out January 31st. Eternal Strands, that's that game that almost looks like Immortals Avium and stuff like that. That's that other Unreal Engine 5 type of game. Got Civilization 7 coming out. Yeah, between Avowed, right? You have Avowed on the 18th, Pirate Yuzuka on the 21st, and then Monster Hunter on the 28th. And AC Shadows was supposed to be on the 14th, and they moved that to March now. Just jam-packed in February. Jam-packed. Eternal Strands is on Game Pass, and Avowed is on Game Pass. Nice. Well, Travis, but the funny part is everyone hates Avowed because of what the art director's saying. It's like, if the dude just shut up, people would have given that game just the time. They would have been like, hey. And I think it'll be a fine, but it's like it's getting shit on because of the developer. Like, just shut your mouth. Oh, so yesterday I was talking to because they said they're gonna do we talked about yesterday about Marvel Rivals, about the one character every 6 weeks. Okay. And I watched a bunch of other people's videos talking about that. There's no way that the cadence of it is just good. There's no one that's ever done that before. And you guys brought it up as well, right? Like League of Legends got like 160 plus characters. Now the game's been out for 16 years. So I think they started with the same amount of characters they started with, around 30, right? And so if they keep on that pace, they're doing the exact same thing as League of Legends, right? 130 characters. Smite started with, I think, like 18 or 30 characters as well. And Smite's over 100 and something characters, and that's only been out for like 6 years, right? I think Smite came out in... Didn't Smite come out? Actually, it's probably 10 years, right? Smite. But they have over 130 characters. I can see Marvel Rivals doing the exact same thing. Now, obviously, it's very hard to tell you if that game is going to be around as long as League of Legends, or if that game is going to be around as long as Smite 1. Okay. Obviously, you would think about it and go, oh, it's popular now, so most likely it's going to be here in 2 years, 3 years. But to say that no game has that many characters and it's unheard of balancing stuff, there's other games out there that do it. And people, again, are so hell-bent on comparing this game to Overwatch, and because Overwatch doesn't do it, there's no way that they can do it, right? Which I find just weird. Travis says 30. I can't. That's the problem with the guy who doesn't realize that he's spouting moralistic crap. We don't care. Yeah. Flip says, yeah, I don't really care if I hate that he talked about it. He shouldn't have been, but still going to play Obsidian Skyrim. Been waiting for that. About overall looks like a solid game. The director just needs to shut his trap. Yeah, I think people will play it. Obviously, it's on Game Pass, so the people that have Game Pass are going to try it out. I'm going to try it out. It's not like I'm giving them money directly. Be like, I'm supporting this guy. No, I'm playing a game. I'm already paying for Game Pass. It's on Game Pass, so I'll try it out. Avowed looks like Dragon Age. Well, Dragon Age looked fine, right? Water. I mean, the problem with Dragon Age was the story they were telling and what they were pushing on you. But is Smite still being played in numbers? Well, they're making Smite 2 now, Sarge. They're moving from Smite to Smite 2. I don't know what the concurrent players are. Again, you don't need the numbers that Marvel Rivals is pulling in right now all the time for the next 10 years. They'll play, and then it'll smooth out. Smite 2 is bad. Is Smite 2 even released yet? I know it was out in beta and whatnot. Yeah, Smite 2 is not even out yet. It's early access. So if it is bad, they can still fix it before it releases. played it last night. I mean, Smite 1. When did Smite 1 come out? Smite 1's been out for a really long time. Smite came out in 2014, so it's been 10 years. 10 years for Smite, and they have, I think, over 130 characters. Right? All right, let me go to the next video, which is Greg Owen. We've had him on the show multiple times. Go check out Greg's channel. The video that we're watching is called Why Fun is Fine Sometimes. Okay? If you guys like what we do here, we have conversations, we watch, talk about gaming topics. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Go check out these channels as well. All the videos and stories that we cover on the streams are in the description down below. So this is about 15 minutes long, and he's talking about why fun is fine sometimes.
I gotta get back on my game. Haven't made a video since last year.
That's coincidence. I haven't watched your video since last year.
So Sonic 3 is out, and I'm a little late for a proper review, which is a real shame, because I was going to do a 15-kid review instead of my usual 6, because we rang in this new year with a few other families at the theater. They had Sonic scheduled to start rolling credits about 10 seconds before midnight. It was a really good time. However, the movie got me thinking about something that, well, would turn into a whole video, and that is movies that are fun but suck.
I think you could take this, what he's saying right there, and put it to anything, right? Movies, TV shows, books, video games, games that suck but are fun, right? Movies that suck but are fun. Shows, same thing.
Can we enjoy them? Why do we enjoy them? Why don't we enjoy some that seem to be similar? And finally, is this a healthy trend? Spoiler, no. First up,
Yeah, it's not a healthy trend. This is why you shouldn't, like, obviously you have to read a book to find out if it's bad, right? But to constantly, like, if you know it's bad in the beginning, it's probably not going to get better in the end. It's probably just going to be subpar at that point. But if you like it, right? There's plenty of things I like in my life. Like Goonies, I know is not a great movie, but I love it, right? I know Police Academy movies are stupid, but they're fun and I enjoy them. Okay? Like there's plenty of movies and TV shows that are just not good pieces of content, but at the same time, they're fun, right? Then there's other things that are just not fun and they suck.
Sonic. And before we get going too fast,
Here, let me back up a little bit.
we enjoy some that seem to be similar. And finally, is this a healthy trend? Spoiler, no.
Jason says Goonies is great. What do you mean? Jason, I'm a huge Goonies fan. But Goonies itself is not a good movie. It's not a good movie. It's a fantastic movie for me. But as movies go, it's not a good movie. Oh, sit down. I'm the fucking biggest Goonie guy. Literally, my thematic of my channel starting is off of the fucking movie Goonies.
First up, Sonic. And before we get going too fast, I forgot what I was going to say. It'll come to me. Anyway, Sonic 3 was extremely surreal because I was in the theater, actively, in real time, thinking about how much this movie sucks. But I was laughing.
Oh, is it bad?
Since I opine on this kind of thing professionally, I try to look at specifics on why a movie or show is good or bad, like how's the dialogue, the plot, the characterization, cinematography. But Sonic reminded me that there is an elusive X factor that can...
It looks like I hit a nerve. I like how I'm going to have an argument with people that Goonies is a good movie because I love it, but it's not a good movie.
supersede all of that fun. From a critical perspective, this thing is trash, okay? Keanu Reeves is phoning in some of the dumbest lines imaginable as Shadow. But he was still kind of cool, though. James Marsden, I believe, was handed his lines right before filming and was not told what was going to be going on in the rest of his scenes. It was very...
I know exactly what he's talking about with what he's talking about. I worked on a movie called Bait Shop with Bill Anvil. Okay, it's a straight to television movie. Okay, it's as people would call it, like a Hallmark movie type of thing, right? It's a bad movie, but it's fun. It's him and I think Billy Ray Cyrus is in it, and they're competing on a fishing boat, right, to get better fish, whatever. And it's just a stupid movie, and the lines that are said are bad, and the jokes are good in some places, but it's just a cheesy movie, right? That's what he's describing to me right now.
Very avant-garde. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually really bad, but I still enjoyed it.
Right. And you're allowed to like things that are not good, because when you mix things in a bowl, you don't think it's going to be good, but sometimes it is. And other people look at it and go, "Oh, that doesn't sound appetizing at all." Right? Sometimes the right amount of jokes or the right amount of action and just what it just makes it good, but it's not a great film or a great show or great game, but you still enjoy it.
The exposition in this was blunt enough to make people at a D&D Session 0 character intro roll their eyes. When Goku, Sonic, and Shadow Vegeta fly off into space and have a fight...
I haven't seen this yet. We're going to watch it.
...on the moon, not making that up, and then they fight robots, also in space, and Shadow has this one-time, out of nowhere, magic arrow ultimate ability, but before that, they have the most generic heart-to-heart, again, on the moon. Oh, and the bad guy in this one is going to blow up the entire planet, and himself. That's his plan.
That makes sense, right? My plan is to blow up the world while I'm on it.
And part of my brain was just thinking,
wow, this is garbage.
But the other part was thinking, hell yeah! We were talking about it afterward, and the other people were feeling the exact same way. Yes, it is a terrible movie. Also, yes, it's a good time. You know what else is a good time? I just had it. Just 6 months ago, I experienced the exact same feeling of viewer vertigo when I went to the theater with my bestie Jeff to see...
This was a good film, but it was just all over the place. It was fun, right? It was a fun film to watch. I liked it because that is what Marvel needed, right? Marvel needed a movie like this where it was just fun action.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Weirdly, I couldn't convince my wife to go to that one, even with Ryan Reynolds present. And I know that she likes The Proposal, and I don't think it's because of Sandra Bullock. Actually, it might just be because it was a fun movie. Ryan wasn't being quite so Reynoldsy in that.
Yeah, he's not as Reynoldsy in there.
That one, and you got Coach, you got Oscar Martinez, Betty White is there. It's good times. But Deadpool 3 is, from a writing standpoint, an awful movie. And we had fun watching it.
Stuff can be two things.
Same for the...
Right. You can not like something and still have fun watching it. Right? And again, I make this analogy all the time, and it's so far-fetched but there's people that live the farm life that there's cow turds on the ground and they get hard and you can pick them up and fling them. Okay? Like hockey pucks once they're petrified. Okay? Now, none of you are going to understand this, but I'm telling you, okay, you can pick them up and throw them, like picking up a rock and chucking it across the water. Okay? You can pick up a cow turd and throw it. I'm playing with shit. Okay? Literally playing with shit, and yet it's fun. Okay? That's what some of movies, television shows, and video games are. You're playing with shit, okay? You're playing with shit, but you're having fun doing it. Make sense?
The Mario movie from 23, I reviewed that one. I called it Fun Empty Calories, and I stand by that.
Yes. Yes, fast food movies, low calories, yeah.
Took the family, we enjoyed our time. I got a little member berry nostalgia parfait in addition to some theater popcorn and a few good laughs. It was fun. Was it good? It was fun.
I like how he's like, was it good? Yeah, no, he can't say it's good, right? It was enjoyable, right? It's enjoyable, but some of the times the movies are like, it doesn't make any sense, but I guess I'll just let it go. I'll let it go within the realm of that what they're telling the story. Okay, you're like, it wasn't good, but it was fun, so I enjoyed my time.
And you know what? That's okay sometimes. Lego Movie, The Gray Man, Fall Guy. A movie doesn't have to be a masterpiece always.
I agree.
Occasionally, keyword, we can catch a popcorn flick with robots and aliens and laser swords and secret agents and explosions and just have a good time. So I got to thinking about why fun can outweigh good quality, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this one as well. Do you give a pass on bad movies that you still, for whatever reason, enjoy? Do you
I think we do.
ever
Let me rewind a little bit here. I think we do. It all depends on. There's certain movies that all it needs is like one memorable moment. One memorable moment, right? So, Office, right? Office Space, right? There's so many quotable lines, like when they're bashing in the printer because it wasn't print, or the red stapler type of thing, or I come in on the weekends, right? There's so many little lines that make you chuckle or laugh, and at that moment, it sticks with you, right? You remember something. Just like I'll give an example. When I drink a root beer, okay, no matter what root beer it is, if I drink a root beer straight from the fountain or whatever, and I take a sip of it, it brings me back to being 12 years old with my dad while we were at a beer factory doing a tour and having root beer for the very first time. Okay. Now, the root beer factory, or the beer factory I was at when I was 12 years old, wasn't really that entertaining to me, right? It just wasn't. It was boring. They were talking about stuff I didn't give a shit about. But at the end, I got to have a root beer. And I'd never had root beer before. But then I drank that root beer, and I was just like, this is amazing. And it made that whole experience going there better. And now, for the whole life, right, as a 46 years old, when I drink a root beer, it brings me back to that moment of, I love that moment. I love going on that trip. Okay? That's what it's like for movies. Movies is like, there's a moment you might wait for like Superman and Batman to fight each other. The rest of the movie, the plot, the action, everything sucked. But that moment that Batman and Superman start fighting, you're like, fucking amazing, right? And you remember the entire movie going, oh, it was a good movie, right? Because you saw Batman and Superman fight, or you saw the 3 Spider-Mans on film, okay? And that is what brings you into going, it was a good movie, but it was a fun, right? It's that one moment that brings it back to you.
explosions and just have a good time. So I got to thinking about why fun can outweigh good quality, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this one as well. Do you give a pass on bad movies that you still,
Sure.
for whatever reason, enjoy? Do you ever watch them again? Before you answer that question, however, I need you to do something for me.
Hit the like button. Is that what he's going to say? Sub, like.
I need you to listen to this next section about shows and movies that on paper should also be fun, but aren't for some reason, and we tend to crap all over those ones. Like, I was wondering why I can be so breezy about Sonic or Deadpool, but She-Hulk was awful. I hate it.
Well, I think here, one, are you a She-Hulk fan? If you don't like She-Hulk and She-Hulk is there might be something in the back of your mind going, I would rather watch something else than this, right? If you're a Deadpool fan of Wolverine, you're just excited that Deadpool and Wolverine are on the screen.
Hated it. They're all doing silly humor. They're all involving
Sure, but you have to be interested in the actual character and have some sort of investment into it, right?
fourth wall breaks. They ought to be similarly fun, so why aren't they? Or Thor Love and Thunder, which I
Thor Love and Blunder. Terrible movie. Terrible. Everything about this movie is bad. The plot point, the acting, the best actor in the movie was the very beginning when the butcher, what's his name? What's the actor? I can't think of the guy's name. Fucking Batman. I can't think of his name. Chat. Someone put it in chat. He had the best acting part right in the beginning of when he starts to lose it. The rest of the movie sucked. Christian Bale. Thank you, Jason. Right? So good in the very beginning. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then the whole movie just fell out underneath. It was terrible.
did not enjoy, and I'm in the vastly majority.
The Screaming Goat was the best actor.
The opinion on that one. We all tend to be okay with jokey action flicks, so what was the problem there? Shazam 2 was following the path that was laid out by the successful and well-received first movie. Plenty of people liked Zachary Levi, so what happened there? The new Space Jam movie should have been
I like Zachary Levi, but the reason the movie sucked, I'll be honest, the villains were just terrible. The villains were terrible in that movie. In the sequel,
a slant. No, hang on. I have standards. They're low, but I have them.
I can go lower.
The new Space Jam movie should
I want to.
have been a slant. No, hang on. I have standards. They're low, but I have them.
I can go lower.
The new Space Jam movie should have been easy
Yeah, the first Shazam was good. Jason, the first Shazam was good.
peasy lemon squeezy. Almost as easy as making a good Star Wars show or movie, but that seems to be beyond Lucasfilm.
Here's the thing. I feel like with Ahsoka, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. Because I felt like they didn't I felt like people were making the show just to capitalize on what was the past, but they didn't understand what they were making. Does that make sense? Like, if you watched Rebels and you watched 100%, if you watched Rebels and you watched Ahsoka and knew the character from the Clone Wars, it didn't feel like Ahsoka. It didn't feel like Rebels. It felt like what they thought Rebels and Ahsoka should be. And they just missed it. They missed the bar completely.
At present, with that first example, on paper, She-Hulk should be fantastic, and I'm told that in print it's very popular. The trouble with that show is that the zany fourth wall break silly comedy was just the thin veil over the showrunner's hatred of the audience. Jessica Gao created a rather mean-spirited comedy, which is already hard to pull off, but it becomes impossible when the butt of every joke is the very audience that the show is marketed to. That same condescension is usually in the rebuttal and defense that I see online as well. Well, you idiotic superhero movie lovers like when Deadpool talks to the camera, but not when Jen Walters does it?
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference, and obviously maybe his opinion will be different than mine. Right? There's a difference between a comedian can tell a joke, right? And it's the same joke. Two comedians tell the same joke. One comedian gets the whole auditorium laughs their ass off, and the other one doesn't get the laughs, right? Not in the same auditorium, just two separate occasions, same exact joke. One gets laughs, one doesn't, it bombs. Why? They're both awesome comics, okay? Why does one succeed and one doesn't? Well, it's all about the timing. It's all about the delivery. It's all about the substance of what's happening there, the setup, right? Telling a joke, telling a line, selling something like that is very hard, right? Anyone can read a joke book, but only people that have good timing and sense of story can tell a good joke.
Misogyny much? That is a pretty special case, kind of in its own category, because it was so hostile, but the other ones prove that comedy is a really fine art, and it cannot
Very
be
fine
forced.
art.
That's usually the
And this is why a lot of people don't get jokes. They don't get them. Because it goes by them. Like Neo in the Matrix, right? When he's dodging all the bullets, it goes over them. They don't understand the actual jokes.
problem in most failures, especially comedy sequels. Looking at you sequels to Super Troopers, Dumb and Dumber, and The Hangover. So often, comedy works because skilled comedians know the fine line between
There you go.
too much and just enough.
That's right. That's exactly right. See, we're all on the same page. We're on the same page.
When it's being forced, it ruins the whole thing. Instantly. That's how Thor Love and Thunder felt to me. Apparently, Exhibit was helping write that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about with Ahsoka. It didn't feel like they watched Ahsoka or they watched Clone Wars. It didn't feel like they knew Rebels. It was like someone else's work, and they just kind of did it because this is what they're asking for. That's what it looks like when you make Marvel movies, and the people that are the writers for these movies never read a comic book or never saw another movie before. How many times did we cover the writers of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus have never, ever read a comic or never knew about the characters of the story? They just kind of wrote it what they thought it was, and they missed the complete another point of what it actually is.
That one and heard you kids like jokes in your action movies, so they removed all the plot seats to make room for a joke machine. Yo, it puts jokes inside your other jokes while making new jokes to put your first joke pair into.
Like a turducken.
This is I didn't see it, but the Ghostbusters movie with the all-girl cast, that's what that's like. They just throw a bunch of jokes in, and they're like, well, why aren't you laughing? Because they're not funny.
Sometimes a bit can just go too far, which is why I need to move on to my next point. And you needed the like button. I got it. I got him. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? That's the common issue that I can identify with the productions that are not
Terrible, Greg. That was terrible. Shame on you. We're going to watch it again.
needed the like button. I got it. I got him. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? That's the common issue that I can identify with the productions that are neither fun nor quality. They feel forced. They feel box checky. They feel lazy. Hey, we'll put Zachary Levi in that suit. He'll do his funny thing. The rest of the family will be...
Exactly. And you know what? He's not far off. I've been on sets. That's exactly how they do it. They're like, oh, we'll just do this and just tell a couple of jokes and then it'll be good. The movies that the actors ad-lib a lot, that's an art, man. Ryan Reynolds, the way he Reynolds stuff, okay? What he does can get annoying to a lot of people. But what he does is very hard on the fly, just constantly doing ad-lib.
Be funny when they try to be adults and kids at the same time, and unicorns are super scary, but they love Skittles. Whatever, it'll sell tickets. Famous basketball player in cartoons. Worked last time.
Sold.
It'll
Yeah.
work this time. You know, the audience loves Easter eggs. Well,
Right? They don't understand that Michael Jordan was the most beloved person on the planet when he made Space Jams. LeBron James, not so much.
they're going to love this egg hunt because the eggs will be nonstop and impossible to miss. The Disney Star Wars stuff mostly feels this way. Like, oh, it's got laser swords and people are having a bad feeling about things. You nerds love this crap. Come on. Come get the slop. Come on. Like I said, Deadpool
You like Yoda? Well, we gave you a cuter Yoda.
was poorly written. But if you've seen other Reynolds movies, it was at least on brand. It was genuine, right? That one felt like the people involved were having fun with you, not serving you a sterile comedy.
Yes, and that's why Deadpool and Wolverine worked. Because they were serving the fans of the comics so many call-outs, so many Easter eggs, so many things of the people that liked it, and they were telling you a story, right? And they were telling you a story.
Checklist. Same for Sonic 3. For some reason, they just felt more like sincere is maybe the right word. And I think we all tend to respond better to low quality honesty than to highly polished yet artificial corporate slop.
I'll agree with that, right? Let me rewind that and listen to him again.
Is maybe the right word. And I think we all tend to respond better to low quality honesty than to highly polished yet artificial corporate slop.
Right, and that's what it is. We want people that are real and talking to us like we're not idiots, right? So when you make a show about Lord of the Rings and you don't do any Lord of the Rings stuff, if you make a show about Halo and don't do any of the Halo stuff, right? You're not really a fan of that stuff. You're just forcing it on people, and if they don't like it, then they go to that other side of the book of, you know, sexist, racist, misogynistic, where people are being honest about what they're making, and then they just make the thing that you want. And it might be bad, but at least it's true. At least it's real.
Flop. That truth applies to the games industry right now as well, with low poly indie titles doing great and photorealistic AAA games getting lampooned and tanking in sales. Since good comedy really is so hard to get right and not feel forced, maybe the reason that we give a pass on the bad but still fun titles is because they're actually few and far between. Concepts like fun and funny are vague, and comedic timing or being fun without being too much, those are razor thin sweet spots. I don't know. Why do you think some movies feel fun and we forgive them, but others don't, and we don't?
The 80s is all about this, right? I know a lot of you guys are younger and maybe you don't watch a lot of 80s movies, but 80s films are all about the cheesiness, but real, right? Like, you ever watch like License to Drive, or I'm trying to think, like the Police Academies, the Naked Guns, right? Like that type of stuff, the 80s and 90s. Okay, there's so many cheesy films. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club. They're cheesy, but they're telling good stories and they're just being real. RoboCop, yeah, they're just telling a fun story, but they're not treating you like idiots, you know? Big Trouble in Little China. There's so many films in the 80s. They were just fun and they were bad, right? So again, when I say Goonies is, if not my favorite movie of all time, okay? But I know as an adult, I look at it and go, it's not a good movie. But as a kid and growing up, it's a fantastic film. I had so much fun watching that film. Still watch it. If I see it come on TV, I stop doing what I'm doing when I had cable, and I would just sit down and watch it because that's what it was. Big Trouble in Little China, that Water brought up, and who else brought it up? Yeah, Water brought it up, okay? That movie comes on screen, I'm sitting down to watch it. It's a bad movie, but goddamn, is it a fun movie. It's so enjoyable. It becomes like this, it's meme, right?
Whatever the case, there's a potential downside in all of this excuse.
This is why we like Star Wars. This is why we like Star Wars. This is why Star Wars, people still watch the original Star Wars, right? Star Wars is such, like, from a movie perspective, it's not really that good of a movie. But man, when you watch Star Wars, The New Hope, it takes you out of wherever you are and you just sit down and you're like, I could watch this all day, right? Because it's just real. It's just real, not meaning because it's sci-fi, but like just the way they tell the story. It's very basic. It's very simplistic. It's a very okay movie, but it's a fantastic movie because it is what it is.
Using bad writing just because we're enjoying it for the length of the runtime. These movies are still bad, and after the initial night of fun is had, they remain bad in the morning, and that could hurt everyone in the long run.
When a movie's bad, you don't remember it. But when a movie is fun, it can be bad, but it's fun, you'll remember that movie.
If there's too much of this. The studios will keep spreading even more of this visual diarrhea, which won't work forever, and we'll soon be left with nothing but mediocre crap because we gave too much mediocre crap a pass along the way. So we have to be careful about how much enjoyable trash we consume.
I'm going to take that a little bit, right, what he just said there, and implement it to video games real fast, right? If you keep buying broke, buggy, unfinished games, you're going to keep getting broke, buggy, unfinished games. It's exactly the same thing, right?
Just like a delicious Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch, they are momentarily tasty while
God damn you, Greg. Now I want Taco Bell.
Offering zero nutritional value. And if you overdo it, you end up looking kind of like this. I am apparently a big back.
Young people phrases.
Not wrong. We also have to be careful about the standards that we use and how broadly we use them. True, Sonic is not a serious film. Yes, it's aimed mostly at kids and families, but if we run too far with that logic, we start to veer into the territory where children just deserve garbage because they're stupid little mongrels.
Yeah, they just deserve it. They're kids. Kids deserve stupid films. What?
Girls who could be swiftly eaten for all we care. That's not a desirable way to raise future adults. Even children's or family content can and should be great. And when we give studios too many passes because it's for kids, well, then we deserve the stupid young adults that we're going to get. But the problem is more than just cultural. It's bad business as well. I've used Disney as the example here before, and I'm going to do it again because I think it's the clearest one. Disney sells nostalgia. They sell a fantasy of your childhood. And
Disney sells that root beer that I told you in my example, right? Disney sells that nostalgia moment of me sipping root beer and bringing back when I was 12 years old. That's what Disney sells. That's what Disney used to sell anyway.
And that requires movies and shows that you'll want to keep watching later. To this day, I will gladly rewatch Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Emperor's New Groove, Hercules, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Incredibles, Cars. These are fun, but more importantly, substantively fantastic movies. They continue to drive interest and dollars to the Disney company even decades after they were made. That is the power of a great brand with great products. For all the hate that they get, that is why Disney adults exist, because they're still invested in these quality productions from their childhoods. They are willing to buy that nostalgia because there is something of quality there. What I think is Disney's long-term fatal flaw is that they are not investing in Gen Alpha to continue that attachment, giving them quality entertainment. You know why people are still interested in a space opera?
There you go.
trilogy from the 70s? Because it was entertaining and good quality. It had themes that they could attach to that meant something to them. Now, why did the Disney intergalactic
Why did the Star Wars hotel close up in less than a little over a year?
Star Cruiser Destroyer Hotel
Because no one's attached to the characters. Nobody cares about Rey or Kylo or Poe, right? Nobody cares. They literally made that on the backs of Lucas of what he did. They're like, well, he did this, so let's just make the exact same thing. We'll put some lines in there. We'll have some lightsaber battles, right? They just a hollow shell of what Star Wars is and was.
flop? Because the new trilogy is empty and soulless.
Jason, if the prices were the exact same, but you put Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and gave the experience of the people that loved Star Wars, they wouldn't have complained one bit. But you asked for that price point with this shit product, and everyone was like, no, thank you.
There's just nothing to get a hold of there. It's one and done. You know what costumes little girls still want to buy to this day? Cinderella, Belle, Ariel, Jasmine, Aurora, Rapunzel. Not Raya, not Rey.
Nope.
Sure not Asha from Wish, if you forgot her name. Very few.
Half those characters don't even know. One, I don't have a daughter, right? Okay? But he's got a lot of kids, okay? And a lot of people, they don't know about the new characters because they don't care. There's no substance there.
Moanas, Meridas, and Mirabelles at Halloween. Not many Tianas either, because she got a really boring dress, but that gets into a whole other issue with Disney and their performative signaling. Whether they know why or not, themes and quality writing matter more than anything, even to kids. Eventually, the young audience will realize that they don't have an attachment to this company, to these productions. They have an attachment to their parents' attachment. Okay, I like these things. So when my kids touch my stuff, I might say,
Whoa, no.
Yeah, don't touch that. Yeah, hold on, let me rewind that. Yeah.
the young audience will realize that they don't have an attachment to this company, to these productions. They have an attachment to their parents' attachment.
Yep.
Okay, I like these things. So when my kids touch my stuff, I might say,
Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
when it's time for us to get down to business and get out the door, I will sometimes suggest that we need to be as swift as a coursing river. When I am wearing a silly hat, I might declare,
You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
but they
won't understand it. They don't get it.
will not quote and fondly remember
No.
Soul or
Because there is no soul in Soul. There is no memorable stuff, right? I said it earlier. The reason Office Space is such a good movie, even though it's not a good movie, but you remember as a good movie, is because of the lines, the quotes, right? I bet someone can quote right now. I mean, Magic quoted fucking Woody from Toy Story, okay? Right? Someone, if I said Pulp Fiction, a quote pops into your head, okay? If I say The Matrix, a quote pops into your head, right? If I say certain movies, a quote pops into your head right away. Where if I say a new movie, you'd be like, I don't remember.
Strange World, Lightyear, Wish, Frozen 2, Toy Story 5, or Raya and the Trials of Hearing Aquafina, and then think, oh goodness, I need...
Do you know what the new media is like? It's corn, right? It's corn. Corn you eat. There's no nutritional value. He said it with Taco Bell, right? There's no nutritional value whatsoever. You eat corn, and you just shit out corn. It's the exact same thing as it goes in, right? If you don't chew it, it just comes out the exact same. Even if you chew it, for some reason, corn comes out the same as it goes in, right? That's what media is today. The media goes in, and it comes out, and no one fucking remembers anything of it.
need to share this magic with my children. That is how Disney dies, folks. Apathy. And it's because the quantity of soulless, but perhaps fun, slop got out of balance with the solid, grounding quality of other productions.
I watched that movie, can't remember a damn thing about it.
Disney is, of course, the biggest and so the easiest example. But back to our original topic, Sonic and Mario, they show that
There's no nutrients in corn. Zero. 0 in corn, Dolphin.
Other studios are making similar mistakes that, if unchecked, might one day lead to their audience being apathetic as well. I haven't thought about the Mario movie since I saw it. I will likely never watch that again. I will almost certainly never watch Sonic 3 again. I had fun. Once was enough.
You know what my son watches? And we didn't force it on him, right? He started watching SpongeBob SquarePants, right? He watches it on YouTube Kids, okay? He watches DuckTales, but not the new DuckTales. He watches the old DuckTales. Okay? He watches the old DuckTales. I didn't tell him to watch the old DuckTales. Okay? I said, "Oh, you're watching the DuckTales?" He's like, "Yeah, why aren't you watching the new DuckTales?" Okay? He's like, "Well, I don't like it." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I just don't like the way it looks, and it's not good." Okay. Right? Because the stuff in the past actually had some sort of whatever. Now it's just flashy cutscenes, right? There's nothing. There's no value, no nutrition value, right? It's just consume and forget.
Jeff messaged me not too long ago. He said that he did watch Deadpool and Wolverine at home, and it was atrocious on the second viewing. The initial joy and excitement was gone, and all that was left was the terrible anchor-being plot and the non-stop sludgy flow of jokes and references. These movies are only fun once, and then they fade away, often for the best, because the second viewing will reveal just how awful they truly are. Sadly, while
the more you watch Endgame, the worse it becomes. Have you guys watched Endgame since it came out in 2019? I've watched it like 3 times. Sorry, Greg, I didn't mean to pause you like that, right? I've watched it 3 times, and every time I watch it, it gets worse.
Continue to do well, it signals to the studio that we want more of them. Or we're going to get tired, and then they won't make money, and that will mean fewer movies overall, and that could be bad as well. Sorry, things got a little dark and depressing there at the end, but, you know, things could end up badly if we go too far. The point is...
Well, Water, because you're blinded by your love for Marvel, which is okay.
You should allow yourself to enjoy a little
Infinity War is actually a better movie than Endgame, in my opinion.
Garbage from time to time. Go ahead, enjoy your salty or sweet fast food every now and again, and don't listen to the haters who tell you that every meal needs to be farm to table, Michelin star quality gourmet. However, don't let the balance get out of whack and then think that slop is normal and then start seeing mediocre productions as high quality masterpieces by comparison.
Well, Civil War is a fantastic movie of that. Yeah, Infinity War is a better pace, Titan. Not only is it better paced, it's just a better story. It ends on a downer, right? It almost reminds me of Empire Strikes Back.
You don't have to hate mediocrity, but also don't pretend that it's anything other than mediocrity, even if it is better than some of the other stuff that we've been getting lately. Bit of a swerving trail of thought today, but now, what are your thoughts? Do you mind the overload of mediocrity we've been getting lately? Do you dip your toes in every now and again as a guilty pleasure? If so, what are some of your favorite bad but fun movies? Do you refuse to watch anything that isn't up to your standards? I'm extremely interested to hear your perspectives on this one, and I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.
So that's Greg's video. Check it out. Description's down below. I just saw, maybe about 2 weeks ago, me and my son watched the first 3 episodes of Skeleton Crew. Okay? I close my eyes right now. I can remember 2 scenes. 2 scenes of Skeleton Crew. There's a scene where the kids find this thing, I'll say, okay, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, okay? And the moment that it happens, it reminds me of Goonies. It reminds me of when they found, Willie's ship, okay? Another one is a robot companion that they have in the ship, okay? That kind of like sticks with me, but he doesn't stick with me. I don't even remember his name, okay? New media, we love watching Reacher. Reacher 3, Season 3 comes out, okay? I like Reacher. I think Reacher is a very good show. Very good written, good pacing, good story, but I really can't remember it, right? I really can't remember it, okay? And that's not saying that the show is bad. It's saying that the people that are making the media and doing the stuff is just not memorable. It's just not memorable. It's just the filling. It's just the corn, right? You're eating the meat and the potatoes, and the corn's just there to have extra filling, but it's actually nothing. It's pointless, and you forget about it. Titan says Goonies, Star Wars. Yes, Skeleton Crew is right now is the worst watched show on Disney Plus, but that's an aftermath of what happened because of all the other slop that was ahead of it. Okay, I sat down with my son. We watched it. I watched it openly. I was like, let's sit down and watch it. I want to have a good time. I want to have that memory with my son of him, because that might be his Star Wars. You know, as a 10-year-old kid watching that, maybe that is his Goonies or whatever. And it is. It reminds me of like a Goonies. It reminds me of, they go on this like adventure. It's like these 4 kids and they go on this little adventure. I've only watched the first 3 episodes. I'm not sure if the rest of them, they're pretty good. Okay. But not fantastic, but I think it's good, right? I asked him, because I try to look at something now through my son's eyes instead of my own, because I don't want to be I don't want to skew him and being like, oh, this show's bad. I watch it and be like, did you like it? And he's like, yeah, it was good. Let's watch the next one. And he'll watch the next one with me. And then we watch 3 of them in a row. And then at the end of the 3rd one, he's like, I'm done. And I was like, okay. And I asked him if we could finish watching it. And he's like, yeah, we'll get to it. But he's not dying to watch it, right? I want to finish watching it because I want to see what happens. But I don't want to watch it without him. And he has no interest in watching the next episode. Right? He enjoyed it, but he doesn't enjoy it enough to watch it. Hell, I'll sit down and watch Star Wars 1 or 4, 5, and 6 over and over and over. I will watch anytime a crappy 80s movie is on TV because they're good. I'm not going back. I'm going to put a 2010 movie in. I don't remember. Star Wars has always been empty calories. We just grew up. It's entertaining. The new ones are not entertaining. The new ones are not entertaining. They just throw stuff in there. There's a MacGuffin within the MacGuffin in episode, what is that? 8 in The Last Jedi? Right? That's the whole point of Greg's video. If it's fun, then it's still interesting. But a lot of the stuff is not interesting. It's just there as whatever it is, right? So the new stuff is not fun. It's just bad. But if it is fun, is it okay to watch it? Sure, if you're having fun watching a thing, and now each their own, because everyone's opinions are different, okay? You might like something that I hate. But the majority, we were talking about this yesterday, and the majority is what always defines what's good or bad in the world of if it succeeds or doesn't succeed. Okay, if a movie comes out and it doesn't do well, Big Trouble in Little China didn't do very good when it came out. I think it lost money when it originally launched. Okay, it did terribly. Okay, but then it built up a cult classic afterwards because people watched it because it was fun. Okay, and now when you look back at it and someone says Big Trouble in Little China, you're like, yeah, it's a good movie, right? Because the majority of the people now like it. Okay? That's what it is. When something, the majority of the people don't like it, but then years later it comes back, like, for instance, the Suits show, right? Me and my wife watched it when it was on USA, but we were the minority. We liked it, but no one knew about the show. Now it went to Netflix, and the majority of the world is now watching it going, oh, it's a good show, right? It got canceled because people weren't watching it on USA, but it moved over to the Netflix. More people are watching it, and now they're making more money than they've ever made before. Right? The majority always wins. The majority of people hate it, then it's a bad thing. If the majority of people like it, then it's a successful thing. Go on, PS5. What did Krebsy say? I haven't watched a movie or show in years, new or old. Yeah, Krebsy just probably watches YouTube, I would think. Krebsy's in a weird spot. I hope he finds something soon. Like if it's a show, a game. He hasn't had a game in a long time that he like a current game. I don't think, right, Krebsy? Well, the problem with that, when you say that, when you're saying I think the trilogy would have been way better if they continued episode 8 instead of reconnecting it. The problem is that 8 went off the deep end. He went rogue from what 7 was to what he made 8, and then 9 had to bring it back to what 7 was doing. Dolphin says this is why Krebsy's dead inside. There's really not a lot of stuff. I'm excited for Witcher Season 3. We just got done watching Murders in the Building Season 4, I think it was. There's another show I want to watch. Not a lot that I'm excited to watch. I got to go back and watch some of the shows that people have been watching for years. I gotta watch the last season of Cobra Kai. I gotta watch. Was it Yellowstone? And then was it 18 something? 1892? Is it 1882? That's like the sequel or prequel or whatever it is to that. I heard Shogun's really good. (1883) and 1923. Nope, haven't seen Chernobyl. I watched the half of the first season of Better Call Saul, and I stopped watching it because someone told me I should probably watch, even though it's not really connected, but it is, that I should watch Breaking Bad. I've never seen Breaking Bad. During that time when that came out, my son was like born, so it was really hard to watch shows and stuff like that. I just kind of went to the back burner. I used to love like Deadwood and stuff on HBO. I used to love those types of shows. Sopranos, Deadwood. America Prime Prevail is supposedly closest to the Red Dead Redemption. Breaking Bad is one of the best shows ever. Second season is probably the worst of them, but the rest of them are gold. Oh, I watched The Gentleman. You guys watch The Gentleman? That was on Amazon Prime. That's a good one. I like that one. We watched that a couple months ago. It's a TV series. Season 2 is going to happen. That was a good show. I think TV series are starting to turn around. There's a lot of good television, good writing, and stuff like that. You just got to find them. It's hard to weed through the slop because there's so much content. Like, think about this, right? On Steam, 19,000 games came out last year. It'd be really hard to find a good game because you don't have the time to find out of the 19,000 games. Well, Netflix and Prime and HBO and Paramount and Hulu and Disney Plus, there's so much content thrown at you, you don't know where to look. Where back in the day, there was three or four organizations. That was it. CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox. Done. Right? That was it. Then you had HBO and Showtime. All right, good Papa. Have a good one. Yeah, I watched the show The Gentleman. I haven't seen the movie The Gentleman. Salty. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that you can go out and find. but you got to find it. You got to sift through it. There's a lot of that. Obviously, during the holidays, there's that Hallmark movie channel. You know what I mean? Like there's those cheesy movies that you make fun of and you sit down and you watch with your wife, girlfriend, mother-in-law, whatever, right? Maybe even your own whatever. You just sit and watch it and you're like, yeah, they're pretty good, right? They're entertaining, right? There's a lot of that, but now in mainstream, lots of mainstream categories because they all have their own streaming services, okay? And they have to fill it. Well, you can't fill it with all blockbusters. You know what I mean? You got to fill it with all different types of content as far as television shows go, right? You got to fill it with a bunch of stuff. And when Disney Plus got started, they didn't have a lot of shows, okay? So they had to make bangers at the beginning. The Mando season 1, people loved it. But then they just started going, well, if they like that, we got to get other things. Let's put Boba Fett, crap. Let's put Obi-Wan, crap. Because they ruin what the lore is and stuff just to make a television show just to get eyeballs on it. They actually don't really care about the actual content of it. They care about the content because they have to put it out there so they have why you're paying the $10 a month, why you're paying the $15 a month. Right? Apple, I hear, is making really good shows, but I don't have Apple. I refuse to pay for Apple TV or whatever for another streaming service. Oh, Mad Men was great. Mad Men was great. That's a long time ago. But Mad Men came out. Gotta be. Are we closing in? Hold on. Yeah. That was 20 years ago when Mad Men came out. PS5 came out in 2007. That's 2007. My kid would be 21. Almost. It's 18 years ago when that show came out. Time flies when you're not having fun. A lot of companies like to put the cart before the horse. If it is a show or if it's a movie or if it's a video game, they try to, like what they did with Concord or what they try to do with I'm trying to think of a TV series that came out. They thought it was gonna be like the next big thing, but it falls flat, right? They try to make a product before the product exists. They try to make you think that this product is going to be the latest, greatest thing that you need or want, and then it turns out to not be any of that. All right, let's go on Twitter here and see what's happening while we were live. See if anything else came up. GTA 5 mod recreated GTA 4's map, nuked after 6 years of work because people noticed that Rockstar insisted on a friendly takedown, if you know what I mean. Well, gee, is that because GTA 6 is going to be putting GTA 4 in the online portion of the game? Probably. We've been talking about GTA Online World for years. The first Berserker, the demo's up now on all platforms, gamer, or just on Steam? So Marvel Rivals devs have accidentally buffed Storm into a tornado-yeeting monster that everyone is picking and no one knows how to counter. Krebsy says Rockstar said 2 years ago not to remake maps if their own fault for not listening. Yeah, but they don't touch the stove. They burn their hand. My hand's on fire. I need to go down. I told you not to touch it. That's what that is, Krebsy. Let's see what else. My whole feed is just filled with Switch 2, and they didn't show anything. I mean, they showed the Switch 2, but we've all seen what the Switch 2 was months and months before because of the leak. Here we go. Nintendo Switch 2. Everything we know about the size, game price, speculation. All right, let's see what this says about speculation. Let's see if they actually say anything. That's the Switch trailer. That's the direct. That is the size. They don't say shit. Play. No, they don't say anything. Potential specs. The potential specs are Digital Foundry report that the Switch 2 may use NVIDIA's new custom variant T239 processor. The site compiled a PC-based believe that the Switch 2 specs could be and found that it also could capable of running Death Stranding at 1080p at the average of 35 frames per second. Nintendo consoles are historically less powerful than the latest PlayStation or Xbox consoles and may believe that it might be the case of the next system as well, but no one knows for sure. Whether or not the Switch 2 would be a 4K capable device or other cutting-edge graphics performance is unknown. Yeah, nothing's known. Nothing is known. Everyone just run with it. Yeah, but nothing's official though. Nothing's official. So talking about it is kind of pointless, right? Once we knew about what the Switch was, the Switch 2 was a year and a half ago. Like things were leaking because of manufacturers that make the cases and whatnot. They were talking about it. We talked about the how the Joy-Cons were going to attach and everything, right? But it was never official. Now it's official, and we're like, oh yeah, everything that we saw last year was correct. So yes, everything could be correct about what power it could be, but we don't know until they actually state it. Unlike the rest of YouTube, I don't say that things are truthful until they actually are official. Like we can speculate all the time, but to say if a fact is a fact when a fact is not a fact until it is a fact, I don't do that here. Like a Dragon Yakuza and Hawaii Hands-On, next act in gaming's greatest variety show. That's from The Gamer, or no, that's from Kotaku. Arcane Age is available today on PlayStation VR 2. This looks pretty interesting. I'll show you the 11-second clip here. You're a PlayStation VR person. A lot of people can't play VR games, but looks like another cool game that came out on VR to play. Dolphin says new people, or now people will say even more shit and milk content. Of course. I mean, yeah, that's the way it is. All I'm saying, though, is, Dolphin, I'm not going to say something's fact until it is. The clip says, which should be a lot of people, right? They were all selling like hotcakes. That's what I heard. That's right. Hotcakes. Yeah. Exactly right. That's how I got in trouble with Apple. iPods are selling like hotcakes. How much is a hotcake? How many hotcakes do you need to sell $1? Sure, if it's claimed, Krebsy, we say it's claimed, but we never say, well, it's got this processor in it. That's what the leaker said. Like, okay, but that's not we don't know that yet. That's all I'm saying. You can say whatever you want and it could be 100% right, but until it's out for fact, it's not fact. Captain America: Brave New World is one of the shortest MCU films. I don't see a problem with that. If it's not a good movie and it's short, then fantastic. Fantastic. And if it's a good movie, then I've said this along multiple films that we've seen so far since not going to the theaters, watching it when they come on to Disney Plus. I'm like, that movie was okay, but it needed to be 30 minutes less. That movie was all right, but it needed to be 40 minutes less. I think they're adding way too much stuff they don't need to, like a little fluff inside these films. If it's under 2 hours, fantastic. You got 17 minutes of commercials as credits as well. So it's probably like runtime, actual like 140. Exactly, Dolphin. It's not 3 hours. You don't have to take a piss break in the middle of a halftime show of a movie theater. You're not going to plan when you have to pee during the slow part. Like, is this a slow part? What's the thing going on? You said something earlier, Dolphin. What's the thing going on with Asmongold and Elon Musk? And this guy, Elon Musk and Asmongold. Asmongold, everyone loves talking about Asmongold. Okay? And everyone loves talking about Elon Musk. It's like the worlds collided now. Now there's like a vortex happening. What is happening? This text that he leaked. The fact that Zach and him are having a conversation back and forth is pretty funny. I have no idea what's going on with this. It says Asmongold's verification gone. Elon unfollowed and is now leaking DMs / attacking him for simply uttering the truth. Okay, so in his text, no context here because I have no idea. Maybe you guys can fill in the gaps here for me. Okay. Asma behaves like a maverick, independent, but in reality has to ask his boss for permission before he can do anything. He's not his own man. What is he talking about? What's Elon going on about? The text that he leaked says, "I'm going to see if my editors might want to make a second account for it even." Okay, sure. Who are these mysterious editors? What does he mean? Editors for YouTube? So two guys, DA, okay, and Cat, okay, they basically run the entire YouTube account. So basically any content I post is edited or uploaded by them, and they just get the cut of the ad rev. It's a super good system, to be honest. Almost everyone on YouTube does it. And he says, interesting. Does Elon know? Does he understand that a lot of people, I mean, we're not all blessed. I have to edit my own stuff, but does he not understand that big content creators have editors that make their stuff, and that's how they make their money? Like, if I was big enough, I would have someone actually approached me to make content for me for shorts and stuff. I just can't afford them. Okay? Like, they wanted to run the channel and just use my content, but they wanted upfront money, and I was like, I can't afford that. Okay? Like, does he not understand that? I'm confused on why Elon thinks that Zach has a boss for his channel. He doesn't have a boss. He's his own entity. Apparently, Elon doesn't like Asmongold anymore because he said the truth about him playing Path of Exile 2. What did he say? He took away his blue check mark? Is that official or is that hearsay? Because there is a glitch on Twitter that if you change something, the check mark goes away. So is that actually true? His check mark's gone because of it? We all know he has editors and tells everyone that's all the time. Yeah, that's normal on YouTube. I know as much as you. I'm so confused. He's mad at Asmongold's content. Okay. He called out Elon because of Path of Exile 2 account. But what did he do? Call him out. What did he say? Saying he didn't play to that level. I mean, it'd be really hard to play that level. Can't say he didn't. Again, that's just hearsay if Elon played himself or didn't play himself. I mean, the guy stays up for lots of hours of the day. Maybe he plays video games to wind down. I don't know. Yeah, but it's not just Asmon using editors. Like, there's a shit ton of... There's a whole other ecosystem of editors making content. Krebsy says, the TLDR, people have been watching Elon's Path of Exile 2 streams and came to the conclusion he has someone play for him. Asmongold said he would stream on X if Elon admits he has someone play for him. Ah, okay. So he called him out and said, if you have someone playing for you, yeah, I'll come over there and stream if you admit that you have someone playing for you. It's been known that Asmongold has other people running his channel. That's YouTube in general, though, Kraken. It's not even Asmongold. That's, I would say, a large portion of big gamers that stream for 12. First of all, someone that streams for 12 hours straight, when do you think they have time to edit their content? They don't. Carnage has someone edit his videos, breaks them down, uploads them on YouTube. Like, there's so many big streamers that use editors because they don't have the time. Tim the Tapman uses editors. Shroud uses editors. They all use editors. They have to. It's impossible for them to do it. Salty says, I see the check mark. So Asmongold's got his check mark. Probably a ploy to engagement between them both. Yeah, this is why I don't. A lot of people like to run with things. Twitter is just one large game of telephone. It really is. It's a one giant game of telephone. Watch the video of him streaming. He did not know what anything he was picking up. Stuff he should be leaving stuff on the ground, and no one would ever leave that on the ground if you play Path of Exile. I mean, that might be true, Eclipse, right? 100% might be true. I mean, let's be honest, right? And I think this is why he's saying what he said, what Krebsy's giving me the download. Asmongold was saying, yeah, I'll stream on there if you admit that you're not actually playing Path of Exile, right? He's not editing his stuff because he doesn't have time to edit his stuff, right? Elon is not playing Path of Exile, potentially, because he doesn't have time. He's running multiple companies, right? Maybe he does have time. I don't know, right? I barely have time to run my own life, and I'm not running multiple businesses, right? Maybe he's got supreme time management. Maybe he's got a Neuralink chip in his brain that we don't know of that's tapped in, and he's just playing Path of Exile telepathically. Who knows? Right, this is just all great for Zach. Yeah, this man doesn't have to do anything, and he's got constant promotion for his stuff. It's genius. It's genius. If it's done on purpose or if it's not done on purpose, Zach is eating good. And the best part is he doesn't even monetize Twitch. There's no monetization for Twitch. He loses Twitch so much money. He uses games as a wind down. I believe that. I believe that, Salty. I used to do that when I worked 16-hour days, 18-hour days. No matter how tired I was, I would come home and I would play Bad Company or I would play Destiny, right? Even if it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I would wind down by playing a video game. Some people pour a glass of wine. Some people heat up food and eat, right? Some people play video games. So to say that Elon doesn't play games, but it is sus that he's up that #1 in the world, like, where do you find the time that quickly after the game comes out? Krabby says Elon is like, so you're coming after me for having someone play for me, but you have editors making videos for you. Yeah. But one's different for another. I don't think Asmongold has ever said that he is editing. But Elon, if your character is #1 in the world, we would assume that you're playing it, right? Dolphin says Elon wants to make civilization on Mars, but somehow was a top gamer. Look, maybe he's playing the most efficient way possible. I have no idea. I mean, we all thought about it. We're like, is he playing his character? Like, how do you become #1? And yet, I see you on TV, you're running Tesla, you're at the rocket thing. Like, where are you playing? Where do you have time? He was #1 Diablo, not Path of Exile. No, there was a thing he was doing in Path of Exile, if I'm not mistaken, Salty, where he was in Path of Exile 2 or something, and I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me look. Let me look it up. Let's see. Elon Musk took to a right-wing hate speech incubator X to stream long hours and Path of Exile 2, a recently released free-to-play action RPG. At a glance, Musk appears to be one of the top game's top players in the world in Path of Exile 2. Yeah, it's Path of Exile 2. He's one of the top players in Path of Exile 2. I'm just saying the time management has to be insane. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what I don't like. I'm not saying he's not a gamer. I'm saying that he did not deserve to be the top 20 if he didn't do it. Right. And that's all people are saying. Like, if you did it, cool. Like, that's amazing. But don't take claim for something, right? Don't put us against bots, right? Don't sneak bots in. Tell us there's bots. You see what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing. Don't tell us that you're the top player in the world if you're not the top player because you're actually not doing it. That's the thing, right? Argus says, which is why he's being scrutinized. People of who he is and is accused of having someone else play his account to get him there. Basically, the highest level on the hardcore, and someone of has some of the best. Yeah, loot out on any player in the game. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, if you're gonna look, just don't be fake, right? Just don't be fake. If you got it, cool, brag about it. But if you didn't do it, like how easy would it have been is to say, hey, my son, Elon Musk's son's the #1 player in the game. Cool. We can believe that, right? You could believe that. You'd be like, yeah, he's probably got a lot of time on his hands, right? But when you tell us that Elon, and he might be, right? He could be the #1 player in the world. You're like, all right, that's plausible. You're like, okay, well, he's in meetings at this time of the day and does this. Maybe he plays between the hours of like 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I don't know. Salty says it's pretty shitty brag, really. Sure. Each their own, Salty. Some people, they want to show you their baseball card collection. Some people want to show you their muscle card collection. Some people want to gloat that they're #1 in the world for a video game. Kraken says it's not a big deal that he has a booster, but it's also embarrassing that he chooses to lie about it. That's all I'm saying, right? Just be truthful, right? Just be truthful. Maybe he invented the floating computer constantly in front of him. I'm telling you, no, he didn't have to do that. He created the Neuralink chip. The guy, we saw an article of the guy playing Civilization. What was it, Civ? Was he playing Civs? Or he was playing RTS. He was playing Dune, or he was playing something, but he was just thinking about moving, right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So if you have a Neuralink chip and you can just play a game by just thinking about it, moving the cursor by thinking about it, he could be in a meeting. He could be in a meeting, and he could be playing without even playing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we watched that. That guy was playing an RTS without even touching the fucking screen. He was just thinking about it. Making multiple moves, just moving the cursor, just thinking about it. That is true, Krebsy. He just pays for it. He's just like, there you go. It's my account now. I'm number one in the world. Done. Titan says, what's the Path of Exile's EULA on the TNS about using external devices? Yeah. Well, it's not attached, so he doesn't know if he's using a mouse and keyboard or if it's a Neuralink chip. Yeah. Yeah. Is he using a Neuralink chip? Is that part of the thing? I think it's funny though. Here's the pieces I'm putting together, right? So he's mad because he called him out, right? So now he's taking revenge. I think this is why Twitter's a little dangerous, because if someone is upset at somebody, right? It's like a scorned girlfriend. Okay. They're like, fuck you. And then it's one of those people that you shove them and they come back and they slug you, or you shove them a little bit and they hit you with a baseball bat type of thing. It's like, you guys were having a conversation. He said something about, yeah, I'll come over there if you say that you have a person playing the game for you. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I have editors that edit my stuff. Oh, you're not your own boss. He's like, I don't think he understands, or he just was upset that he got called out and then now he's taking revenge type of thing, which is just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Yeah, it's super petty. Yeah. The fact that you release a direct text between two people's conversations, that should never happen. In my opinion, a conversation between two people should never go public, okay, unless court ordered. Okay? If I'm having a conversation with you and then you take a screenshot and send it to somebody else, let alone the entire internet, that's fucking scummy. I don't care who you are and how rich you are. Releasing text, direct messages from one person to another to somebody else is scumbaggy. It makes anyone look like a clown, especially him, Jason. If I'm having a conversation, right? Even if we have a conversation in Discord or whatever, right? If I have a conversation, direct message with somebody, and then somebody else takes that, screen caps it, and then send it to somebody else, that's fucked up. Right? That's fucked up. You lose all trust. All trust. Right? This is why I hate texting. Right? Most of my texts, most guys would understand this, right? My wife will text books to me, right? Right? A book. And I go, okay. Yes. Be there at 10, right? Like, I'm one sentence and I say as minimal as possible. Because if you want to talk to me, you call me on the phone or you talk to me in person. You will not get a eulogy from me. Now, topics in Discord and stuff like that, cool. We can go back and forth for hours. Yeah, that's why I said, Salty. Those of you that have wives or girlfriends, you'll understand. And my wife hates it. She's like, did you get my text? I said, I did. I answered it. She said, you said okay. Yeah, that's what I said. I understand everything you said. I comprehend it. I said, okay. That's it. I don't need to come back with a book. Analysts say that the Switch 2 will sell 20 million or more within the first year, and they also say that Nintendo has prepared the supply chain to make this happen. Cool. As long as the world doesn't have a war or something, we'll all be fine. On Discord, we have a good debate, me and you. And honestly, even if I can tell you, you make your point quickly, 30. Yeah, I don't like. I fucking hate going back and forth with texting. This is the best communication. I prefer text. My girlfriend is a massive yapper. I had a phone call. Oh no, yeah, Argus. If for phone calls, direct to the point. Soon as anyone on the phone with me says, "So, if you don't have anything to say, we'll see you later. Call me back. Call me back when you have it." I don't care if it's my mother, my brother, my wife. If you call me and you don't have anything to say, or you're looking for things to try to pull, and you're like, "What else was I going to say?" I'm like, "I don't know. Call me back when you figure it out. I'm not going to stay on the phone and wait here to listen to you. I got stuff to do." Which is a perfect segue. I got stuff to do. So tonight, Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. That's at 8 p.m. this evening. If you like podcasts, if you like Generation X Gaming, come on out, hang out with us tonight. Me and Sarge bullshitting, basically this, but with two people bitching and moaning and ranting and raving and talking about news stories. We'll talk about that tonight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do the daily grind Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you're watching over on Twitter, come on over to the live streams, because I don't think I have it where you can talk over on Twitter, just because I don't feel like bouncing back and forth between two streams or two chats. So if you want to be a part of the stream, come on by, interact with chat all the time. Appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time, with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty, tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming always. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming always. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time, with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Come on in, your morning